want to hear some gratitude in these comments today because the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, and Michael and I, neither one of us are playing that game at this moment. Instead, we're doing this podcast. So
this podcast?
this podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the RageSelect podcast here. RageSelect, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
Did you watch? One of the things we're going to look over today is the Future Games Show.
Oh, I didn't watch it at all. I was too busy
that?
playing Metal Gear Solid 3.
Well, there you go. It was hosted by David Hayter and then the lady that played Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh, okay.
And I swear to God, in the first 20 minutes, David Hayter made like 8 different Metal Gear jokes.
Oh, I'm not shocked at all.
I was just like, we've seen the Future Game Show before when it's like Troy Baker and somebody and like Nolan North or whatever. And I'm wondering, it's like, you guys know that these jokes are super cringy, right? Like, that these are not like the most well-written jokes, but it's kind of got a charm to it of just like all of the oh brother every time they can switch back to these two.
I love that though, because some of the actors know what they're doing.
Yeah.
When it comes to jokes like that, because David Hayter's like, look, I'm David Hayter.
Right.
Like, you may remember me from such things as writing the X-Men movies.
Yes.
But you know me more for this specific thing.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into that. I've done something a little different this week because last week we had to kind of cut off Gamescom at a certain point. We had to just say that's as much Gamescom as we can do in 1 week. So this week we're going to finish up some of the Gamescom stuff, and then we're going to look at some of the other stuff. But before we get to that, Michael, I tried really hard to find something to watch this week.
You were telling me that, yeah.
I didn't find anything. So you know what I wanted? You know what I want to say really briefly is that every day when I have my lunch, I usually have something that I watch, and it's like a sitcom. So I'll watch like The Good Place or like Parks and Recreation or Friends or something, and I'll just watch one episode every day, and then over the course of the year it's like I'll go through 2 or 3 series. I'll go to The Office or just that kind of shit. Somehow in the last like couple months I got a wild hair up my butt, and I went back and I watched Better Off Ted.
I haven't thought about it in years.
And I think it's because before that I watched the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development because I refused to acknowledge anything that comes after that.
It's a shame they never made any more of that.
It's a shame they never made any more Arrested Development. And I remember like the only other place that I saw Portia de Rossi was in Better Off Ted, and she's acting her ass off in that show. Like,
she's amazing in that show.
Yeah.
Everyone's amazing in that show.
Yeah, it's a really good show. For anybody who's never watched, it's on Amazon Prime Video, and it's like it's a sitcom set in an evil corporation that makes like horrible inventions, and so it's like the main guy Ted is like a project manager, and Portia de Rossi plays his boss, and then he's got like a coworker. There's a will they, won't they. And then there's like some nerdy scientists and some special guest stars and stuff. And is it one of the greatest television comedies of all time? No, it is not.
No.
But it is eminently watchable. It's 2 seasons long, and it's got some goofs. It's got some gags. It's got some stuff. Portia de Rossi to me is just the best part of that show because she plays this kind of ice queen like CEO that just doesn't understand human emotions and basically just physically attacks everybody around her. And
it was one of those cult hit shows at the time. It's the reason it only lasted 2 seasons.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a miracle it even lasted 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
That's what I watched last week. Other than that, I just played a lot of Hollow Knight. I think last week I'd said, I don't know, like Hollow Knight seems fine. I don't understand why people keep putting it as like the best Metroidvania ever. And then like
people like insects, apparently.
I got more into it, and it's like, okay, it does pick up a little bit more. The beginning is really slow and ponderous, and like I feel like once you get a lot of like the movement upgrades and the combat upgrades and health upgrades, that like, it gets a little bit easier to play. I kind of wish the game was just easier. There wasn't such a slog at the beginning when you have nothing, and it's just like, man, everything fucking takes forever to kill in this game.
Oh, okay.
I've gotten into it since then, and I think I understand what people are saying. I still think that like, I don't know. What's your favorite Metroidvania, Michael?
Probably Symphony of the Night.
Oh, Symphony of the Night?
Symphony of the Night's really good.
I think for me it's Super Metroid.
I can see.
I think for me it's Super
both of those
Metroid.
are very valid answers. Is the main thing.
But like I went back and looked through stuff, and I'm like, I think I think that there are other Metroid games that are definitely on par with Hollow Knight. So I don't know. Like, there's good stuff out there. It's not a bad game. I'll keep saying this. It's not a bad game, and I don't dislike it. It's just that the level of praise that gets heaped on it sometimes is one of those things. And I don't even think it's wrong. I think it's just people found a game they really like, and then everybody really likes it, and then it gains this reputation and it just gets so overblown that then you go play it and you're like, well, this is fine, but like, what are you guys talking about?
Well,
Like,
no, that happens all the time, especially with movies, because we have friends that love movies, and they'll sit you down and going, look, this is one of the best movies ever made.
Right.
It's got all these great things in it, and you watch it and you're like, well, that's pretty good, but like,
yeah,
it's not what I like. I liked a lot more things more than this.
Right.
Like when Black Panther came out, I liked Black Panther, but it's just another Marvel movie type of situation. I'm like, well, it does all the Marvel things and just happens to have this Black Panther thing, and that's it. I was just like, it's like Iron Man 1, probably at most. This thing, and they were like, it's the greatest thing ever. It's so impactful, and I'm like, it's fine.
No, you know what it reminded me of is when I went back and I watched Big Trouble in Little China. I'd never seen it.
That's a great example.
And when I was in my like late 30s, early 40s, I finally went and watched Big Trouble in Little China, and I was like, well, this is kind of goofy and silly. And then it was like, no, Jeff, no. Everybody watched this when they were babies.
Yes.
Like, they watched this when they were children, and of course it had a big impact because if you're younger, and I think that some of Hollow Knight is that for me too. I played a shitload of video games, let alone Metroidvanias. I played Yoku's Island Express, where you play as a fucking dung beetle, and it's a pinball-vania game. I played a lot of different variants on this, so when I see Hollow Knight, it's like, yeah, this is fine, this is great. But I can imagine that if you hadn't played every other goddamn video game that's come out over the last 20 years and you got into this and you'd be like, wow, this is amazing. And it's like, I agree.
We had this conversation about Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
That's another good example, because I remember, Ocarina of Time came out when all my friends, that was their first Zelda game.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Ocarina of Time is a masterpiece, and it's the best Zelda game ever made. And I finally went back when they did the 3DS version, and then I played that one, and I eventually played the N64 one. I was like, this is okay.
Yeah.
It's a normal Zelda game. Because by then, one, there a lot of the other games had done that, but better. And two, my first Zelda game was A Link to the Past, which is why I will swear up and down that A Link to the Past is the best Zelda game of all time. And it just came down to the fact that I'm like, it just comes down to kind of when you played them, type of thing. And it's the same about how me and you feel about Metal Gear Solid 3. Right. Metal Gear Solid 3, I think, is one of the best games ever made. Yeah. But if I showed it to Metal Gear Solid 3 to somebody now who's like 13 and has played all of the new stealth type games, they'll be like, well, this is fine. Right. Also, this is way more sexual than I anticipated, type of thing. And I'd be like, look, it was a different time. Yeah. And then you just think back to Death Stranding 2 and you go, okay, well, maybe it wasn't a different time, but it was a specific guy.
A slightly different time, yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about how, like, I think that I'm more of a fan of Final Fantasy 6 than I am of 7.
I'm more of a Final Fantasy 4 guy. Yeah. And again, it comes down to kind of what we liked when we were younger. Yeah. So, I definitely did that. I don't know. What about you? Do you play anything good? Do you watch anything good? I've been watching Peacemaker Season 2.
Oh, okay. I watched the first episode.
I've been really liking it a lot. The first episode is a lot of setup mostly. Peacemaker is the gun has now officially made it to where Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad are part of the DCU lore instead, even though there's some stuff here and there. So we don't know how much of the Suicide Squad is exactly canon, but we know enough of it is now. Yeah. Where after Peacemaker killed Rick Flag Jr., Rick Flag Sr. is now in charge of Argus. Right. And Rick Flag Sr., the second episode finally shows you when he becomes the head of Argus. And he's just like, he's talking to Economos, the guy from the last season. Because
that's the same Rick Flag from Creature Commandos.
Yes. Yeah. And he's also in Superman as well.
Right. Yeah.
And he's and I guess post Superman he's made head of Argus. And so he's like, yeah, after my son died, I was like, hey, I want all the files on this. Like, well, it's classified, we can't really give you that. Yeah. And so he's now head of Argus. Like, and now I'm the head of Argus now, so now nothing is classified to me. And he's like, are you sure you want to see that? Because it might be upsetting. He's like, of course it won't be upsetting. And of course it's upsetting because he just reads that's everything that happens in the Suicide Squad happens where Rick Flag dies because of Peacemaker deciding to do the things in the name of peace or whatever.
Right.
So the first thing he does is immediately goes like, was to watch this motherfucker like a hawk. The second he fucking sneezes wrong, he's fucking dead type of thing. And the only reason he can is because the world knows he saved the world to Project Butterfly. But Peacemaker's depressed because his love interest character is like, she's too much of a toxic masculinity character to like show any type of feelings towards, even if she has any feelings towards him.
Yeah,
which makes for a great scene where she's just like, "What do you mean I have toxic masculinity?"
I think I was in the first episode because I remember that.
It was really funny.
Yeah,
but the second episode shows that he's trying to like be there for her, but she's just like, "Fuck you," and he's just, so he gets so depressed that he might. It seems that he's going to. He found an alternate reality of his life.
Yeah.
He meets a Peacemaker whose life is wonderful. His brother's alive. His dad's alive. They're a superhero trio team or something. And so he accidentally kills the Peacemaker. Well, this is all set up still.
I know, but
and so he's like, is he going to figure out, is he going to like live there? Is he not going to live there? He's not really sure what he's going to do with his life.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tim Meadows shows up as this other guy who has bird blindness, which is a great gag. And there's all this stuff that goes on with it. And so it's now this game of cat and mouse, essentially, where Rick Flag Sr. is just like watching this man like a hawk, and Peacemaker's is trying to deal with this alternate reality.
Yeah.
And since all we've gotten so far the first 2 episodes, there's so much more that clearly hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So we're like, I'm in for the ride, but I'm also really happy to see that the DCU is now the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has now happened the same way. Just instead of the Justice League at the end of the first season, it's the Justice Gang at the end. The end of it.
Yeah.
Instead of mentioning all these other Aquaman jokes, they're now jokes about Green Lantern.
Right.
Like, I'm just interested to see where this whole thing goes, and I'm having a good time. I'm going to say this about it. It's super not safe for work.
Sure.
And I mean, like
really, really, really not safe for work. Yes.
Like, and that carries on in the second episode because you see the aftermath of that part.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, because I remember watching it not knowing that, going, whoa, that is just like a 70s
they're really
magazine.
They're getting in touch with the boys a little bit.
Yes.
They're tapping their Enter the Boys a little bit. Not to the level the boys does.
The weirdest part is James Gunn was very much like, this show is going to really set up some stuff that happens for the universe overall.
Yeah.
So it's really funny for him to do that in a show like this. Because it's like if Marvel was like, well, the Loki's going to be the next villain thing.
Right.
But you're also going to watch just full frontal nudity.
But then there's like there's like 10 minutes of Loki season 2 that's just pornography.
Yes.
With Tom Hiddleston, and you're like, oh.
But you have to watch it to understand
it. It ties in
what happens.
Yes, exactly.
And you're just like, this is a weird fucking thing you've done, James Gunn. But I am an adult, so I don't care about that. So it's the equivalent of reading like Vertigo in the middle of like reading your Superbad stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know. I'll be interested to go back. I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, it was kind of interesting. I've always been like slightly tepid about Peacemaker. Like, I really liked jerk-ass Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad, and I was really looking forward to having a series that was that jerk-ass character moving forward, but then it was like, no, he's got to have feelings, and I was like, like, he can have feelings, but I missed the part, I missed the Peacemaker that mimes jerking off into fucking Idris Elba's face. Like, that's the Peacemaker I really miss.
I appreciated this second episode going, so if it isn't the consequences of my actions type of thing that's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of just like, you remember that thing that was like kind of just the thing that happened?
Yeah.
Now it's a huge fucking story point. I'm like, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The nice thing about these things, right, is that if they're good, you can always bank up the episodes and then just go back and binge them at a certain point. So.
And it's James Gunn doing James Gunn things.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy at least a little bit of that, you'll have a decent time with it.
I'm interested too because somehow, unexpectedly, Creature Commandos was like the James Gunn thing I've liked the most that he's done over the last few years since the Suicide Squad. I think Creature Commandos was my favorite thing. So.
Also, fun fact, the reason why Frank Grillo's hair is not white like it is in Creatures Commando.
Yeah.
Is he was filming Tulsa King at the same time.
Okay.
And he wasn't allowed to make his hair not black for Tulsa King.
All right.
So, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get into it. So here's the thing. There was a roughly 1 hour and 40-minute long Future Games Show that happened at the end of Gamescom. And I watched all of it. And then I picked 25 things. Like the original show was like had something like 50 trailers, so I basically hacked like half of those out because some were uninteresting and I knew I was going to have a lot to say about them. Some were things that we already know about, like they had the Chronos game and it was like, motherfucker, every week on this podcast there's another trailer for that goddamn Chronos game. Like,
it's a lot of it. Yeah.
I'm going to play it. It comes out next Friday. You got to quit trying to get me to play it. So we got a bunch of different stuff here. We're going to cut all of the, we're going to discuss any of the jokes that came in between the trailers. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then we've got some other stuff after that. So with that, let's just jump into it. Our first trailer was Hell Let Loose Vietnam. So I don't know if you know, but Hell Let Loose is is one of these like PC online mixed like infantry and vehicles.
Oh, that's
and stuff,
right. Okay,
like
yeah.
World War II.
I remember
games.
this one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're apparently making a Vietnam game. I put this in here because I was like, I think the last time I played a Vietnam game was like Battlefield Vietnam, or maybe like
There's a Call of Duty.
Like
if I remember correctly, that was Vietnam.
was one of the Black Opses had a Vietnam section in it?
I want to say it was. I don't even remember what it was. I remember one of them being Vietnam related and everybody being surprised by that, because you'd be surprised how rare a Vietnam game is.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
I mean, it's tricky. Like if you do it with all the jungle stuff, like it's easy to... It gets a lot harder, right? That's what I remembered in Battlefield Vietnam was it was so easy to sneak up on people and so easy to get snuck up on. But
like most Vietnam type things in media are Rambo related.
right. So, I mean, this definitely looks like what it says on the box. Like it's a modern first-person shooter with like tanks and guns and rocket launchers and stuff, and it's all set in Vietnam with the, the jungle canopy and everything. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I haven't tried any of these. It's like the War Thunder, and like I know there's a bunch of these games that are like big online free to play like warfare style games.
People really get into these games like forever.
So I wonder if the audience for Hell Let Loose would be interested in this, because it does look like a well-made version of that. But then I also just don't know, are people as interested in playing a Vietnam based game?
Well, it depends. Is Fortunate Son going to be playing the whole time?
Is it just on repeat in the background? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that in Battlefield that was a thing you could do. You could turn on like on the helicopter. There was like a button to play like Ride of the Valkyries if you wanted to, and it would just come out of the helicopter.
I wouldn't
like...
be surprised. I remember Metal Gear Solid 5. You could set your helicopter to play whatever music you wanted it to.
Yeah. But yeah, this looks pretty good. It's coming next year, so. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Next, we got a developer interview for Skate. Skate is actually going into early access really soon. This was interesting because they talked a lot about... one of the things they talked about was having skaters come in and do motion capture for like tricks that technically nobody ever has done, because like you could do
physically
them in the game and they needed motion capture for it. Also, it appears that there's a lot more on foot stuff in Skate, like more Tony Hawk Underground, get off the board and walk around kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's looking pretty good. Like, I don't know. Activision is basically like, there's only really two companies making skateboarding games, and Activision has decided to just go re-releasing old Tony Hawk games route. So this idea of having like a big online thing where everybody's just skating around and you could join into games and like cheer other people on or do stuff. There's like a lot of technical detail about the way. Oh, you know what? One of the things that they said that was interesting is like if you're skating and you nudge up against a curb, instead of wiping out, you'll just automatically transition into a grind instead of just like falling over like a dumbass. And I'm like, oh, well, that seems like it would help Jeff from RageSelect because I'm always falling over like a dumbass. So
yeah, this game is very much interesting to me because of the fact that it's this big old MMO-y type thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how do you make money off of this? Like, you can't pay to win a skateboard game normally. Like, unless people really want to like look that much different. When it comes to, I'm guessing it's all cosmetics.
I think cosmetics would be huge, right? Because you want to stand out from the other people. So
yeah, it's just that it's interesting to me because it's like, what cosmetically do you really need in the game? I guess if that makes sense.
I mean, nothing.
Like, it's not really like Fortnite where you're like, and then you get to skateboard as fucking Goku type of thing.
But maybe you do. I mean, like there's no reason why Goku can't be on a skateboard, right?
No, there isn't. But I'm just wondering if they will go that route.
Yeah,
because there are people who are very weird about that sort of thing.
Yeah,
we have a news story about it specifically later that week. It was one of the reasons I brought it up.
Yeah,
like how important is realism to the people of skateboarding is part of what I'm thinking. If that makes sense.
That's a good question. I mean, I would say probably not a lot, but then I don't know because I don't know.
Not only do I not know what older skaters would think, I definitely don't know what the new generation of skaters think either about that sort of thing.
Yeah. Also, I said I wasn't going to mention it, but I will say that I'd appreciated that when they were getting ready to transition to this developer interview, David Hayter called out like, I haven't skateboarded since I was on the Big Shell, and I was like, I got that, I understood that reference.
See, that's what they need, a Solid Snake skin.
Yeah. Well, if Skate ended up having a Solid Snake skin, I would buy it. So
I don't see why not.
Yep. From there, we got an interview talking about Resident Evil Requiem. I feel like we got a lot of Resident Evil Requiem. This one was talking about how this one was reinforcing, I think, with this trailer with the main character kind of like sneaking around this area. The concept of like we want this to be scary, and so you're probably not going to end up playing as Leon because Leon wouldn't be afraid.
Yeah.
Leon would just shoot stuff.
That was the reason why 7 worked as well as it did, because
Right.
you weren't Chris I punch boulders Redfield.
Right.
You were just Ethan, guy looking for his wife in the South.
In fact, when it was Chris that showed up at the end, right?
Yeah.
And it was
very
like,
end.
you know,
Like we were having a hard time figuring out how it connected to any of the Resident Evils.
Yeah.
Until he showed up at the last second.
yeah. But yeah, this looks like I think we've seen some of this. There was a trailer at the main game show that showed this character and her mother escaping from like this apartment building. This is a segment that I've seen in a few different trailers later on where you're like kind of in a house and there's like this kind of they have some kind of nemesis monster that is chasing you around type of thing. I'm also really interested though to see. Like, it seems like we're going to go back to a post-bomb Raccoon City.
I think that's a great idea, though.
And I think that as like, that's, yeah, I'd much rather go there than to, like, a research base in Antarctica or, like...
well, because there's so much to mine out of that idea. Like,
Yeah.
what does... Like, Raccoon City is like Chernobyl at this point.
Right.
It's like, why don't you set a scary type thing in it? Because they do that sort of thing with Chernobyl itself, and that's a real place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot to mine out of an idea like that.
Yeah. And this, I mean, I don't know. This looks good. It looks different. It looks interesting. I'm glad to see that. You know what I like the most about this is that, like, I keep waiting for Resident Evil to get stuck in a genre, and they keep, with the newer ones, they keep switching it around. Like 7 was a haunted house, 8 was like fucking Universal Studios movie monsters, and then this one is like a whole different thing where you're playing as a different character. It almost feels like this is like more like the DLC for 7 or for 8.
I could see that,
with the Rose character or whatever. But
well, it seems like a normal horror game type idea.
Yeah.
Versus how actiony some of the other ones kind of got. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the reason. It's the reason why Resident Evil has been able to work the way it has, is that it's a series that knows that it can flip-flop between things, and as long as it doesn't go too far in one direction, too far in another direction, like 6 did, is a good example of that.
Well,
then people will have a good time with it.
4 through 6 was like an arc towards more and more and more action.
Yeah.
Right? And I like the idea that we're not just getting trapped in this, like, well, people like the action, so we need to make more of that action. now we need to make even more of that action type of thing. So.
It just kept escalating to where it's like the Fast and the Furious. The first Fast and the Furious is just like people stealing VCRs, but by the time it's done, it's fucking
you're in
flying
space.
into space. It was the same thing. Leon's a rookie cop, and at the end, he's fucking ninja kicking gigantic monsters, and like suplexing things. You're like, well, where's the scariness?
Once you're fighting Wesker in the caldera of a volcano, it's hard to know where to go next to top that.
Exactly. And so luckily, I'm super happy they luckily in 7, they're like, well, we need to
tone it down,
this
bring
shit,
it back.
guys.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So this was weird. Nikkei got us a victory. You know that like phone game. Speaking of Resident Evil, is getting a tie-in where they're putting Jill Valentine, a very like fucking cutesy animated Jill Valentine, into Got Us a Victory Nikkei. I don't even really know what Got Us a Victory Nikkei. I think that's the one where you're like coming out from behind cover and shooting, and then all of the characters are like cybernetic bubo ladies or whatever. But
I wish I knew, because I don't know what the fuck's happening on the screen.
But that is one anime as shit Jill Valentine, but like it's like they didn't even try to make her look like she looks like in the actual game.
No.
She just looks like a generic anime lady. She looks like she was AI generated, to be honest.
Well, she also has huge tracts of land.
Right.
Compared to what Jill looks like. I'm not even going to say nowadays. I mean in general.
Right.
Jill never was a person
known for the bazongas.
She wasn't known for that, like, ever.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck happened here?
Anyway, let's see from there. We got a big deep dive into Blood of the Dawnwalker, which I'm going to start calling Blood of the Dawnwalker because that's how we roll over here at RageSelect.
It's hard not to think that every time I see the word Dawn now.
Yeah. This is the one that's being made by like ex-Witcher developers, and it's like you play as
the Daywalker.
You play as a Daywalker.
I mean the Dawnwalker, sorry.
like a half-breed, basically, vampire. The vampires have taken your family, and then like during the day, it's like the Witcher. And then, like, during the night, you have, like, super vampire powers. And you have to decide whether you want to, like, you can, like, feed on people. There's a bunch of morality choices. They talk a lot here about how there's, like, 3 different types of morality choices. There's, like, stuff where you do something, and then there's a direct result. There's stuff that you do something, and it changes, like, the world. And there's stuff that could, like, come back way later on. So it seems like, because I know a lot of people really like The Witcher 3 because the choices you make reflect the consequences of those happen way later, right? So you can't necessarily tell whether you're doing the right thing. You can't reload. You don't want to reload your game 10 hours ago to change that one thing.
I appreciate when games actually pull that off, though, because so many games promise that and then they just don't do it.
Yeah. And it looks like, kind of a third-person medieval action game with some spooky elements to it. I do think that this game seems like it needs a little bit of polish. Like it's definitely in a beta, and I'm not like judging it because it's early on. But like if they could make this thing work and do everything that they said, it could be really amazing. Like it could be really fun. But
yeah, this has the makings of something that could be a big franchise type of thing if it works.
Yes.
We've seen so many of these games where they have a great concept and then it has like the worst control scheme you've ever played in your life,
right?
Or it's buggy as hell, or even it turns out the concept is like maybe half of what the game is,
right?
Type of thing,
or it just doesn't work. Like what they said it was going to do ends up not being true.
Exactly. And so I want this game to work, and since it's all ex-Witcher developers, it's got a really good shot.
Yeah,
and even when the way Witcher came out, it even has a good shot at like having a long lifespan.
Right.
So I'm hopeful that it'll be exactly what they say it's going to be.
It's also really bloody.
Yeah, which
I appreciate.
I appreciate in a vampire game where it's like, you have super awesome vampire things, and then you just like are the most generic guy.
I like this where you can you literally like walk sideways up the wall like kind of in old vampire movies
which is
type of thing.
So fun.
Yeah.
And again, as long as everything works, this is the way it's needed to. This game could be really cool.
Could be really good. Could be one to really watch. Let's see. We got another trailer for Deer and Boy. This was something that we heard a long time ago. This is one of those like inside style games where it's like you and a little deer and you're like kind of side scrolling your way through adventure. But this is the one where the deer keeps getting older and then also has like super deer powers, and there's like monsters and stuff.
Yeah, I remember the first time we heard about it, I was like, oh, this could just be this cutesy thing. Yeah. And then the more it went on, the more we're like, wait, what the fuck's happening?
Right. I think that I like the fact that these games I like the fact that this style of game is more of a thing these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, this still looks pretty good. Like, it looks very solid animation, very nice looking characters. You know, one of these are a little bit tricky to know whether they're going to be any good or not until they get in the hands. Like, there was that one that was about the alien invasion.
We thought was going to be really cool.
Yeah.
And then we
just didn't like it.
Boring as shit.
Yeah. So
because it was like the family like living in a it wasn't even a post-apocalypse. It was just like it was as the alien apocalypse was happening.
Right.
Which sounded really awesome until you played it.
Right.
And you're like, oh, what's this guy lame?
But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like, again, good art style, very charming. So let's see. After that, we got the early access trailer for Lost Rift. This is the X People Can Fly folks that are making like a survival game where you're like in the jungle.
Oh, okay.
And you're kind of trying to survive and build and defend, kind of a Rust type of thing, with like an online component and some like weird little dodo bird dinosaur stuff. I don't know how to feel about this one because nothing about it seems interesting. It seems like not interesting. It just doesn't. None of it ticks the Jeff is interested boxes, right?
Well, it feels like the ultimate like, hey, stream our game type game.
Yeah.
Which it goes either way because there's some stuff that I find interesting, but at the end of the day, it's the same fucking survival.
Right.
4 or 5 or whatever the fuck amount of people. Where it's clearly like, yeah, you're here to stream my game to really show how we work together or whatever type of thing. It's like, yeah, but I don't know 6 or 7 or 4 or 5 people who want to like deal with a survival game.
Right. I've never actually played one of these the way that it was meant to be played, which is with a bunch of people online. Right.
And for like a long time.
Yeah.
Because you have to build, because when it shows like they build like almost a small town.
Yeah.
They didn't build that in 20 minutes,
right? Type
of thing. It's like, yeah, we couldn't dojo that shit, and I sure as hell want to ask everybody to join every week for something like that.
I did. I also did think that one of the things they pointed out here was that you have your own PvE area where you build, and then you go into like online matches, which I think is a good way because one of the reasons I don't like games like this a lot of times, like Rust, is because. Well, Dune is having a big problem with this, where people will log off for a week and come back, and then everything they built is fucking destroyed because somebody found a way into their base while they were offline. So I like siloing that off. I don't know. September 25th is when that's going into early access. I don't know. Maybe we'll give it a shot. Maybe we'll take a look.
It's designed for people who have nothing else going on, or at least like those other ones we're talking about. If this one actually makes that pull off, I can see that being a big deal for older people.
Yep. Monsters Are Coming. Rock and Road is strange. This is like a tower defense game, but the difference is that your tower is moving, like downward, like it's like a top to bottom scroller, and your base is always just slowly moving, and then you jump out of it. You could get resources, you can bring it back, you could redesign your base, but the whole time it's constantly moving. It looks like I would have a panic attack playing this game.
Oh, guaranteed.
Yeah, but it does seem like a very interesting take on that general genre.
Yeah, normally when something says like the enemies are coming, you're stationary,
right?
And you can plan very well for that. This is more like if your castle was in the middle of Vampire Survivor, is what it looks like.
Yeah,
and I think that's really fucking interesting.
Yeah, it's like that. What was that? Machines. What was that movie about the cities that eat each other that drive around?
Oh,
Mortal Engines, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
What a weird fucking movie that was.
If you're at all interested in tower defense, you probably go check out Monsters Are Coming. Rock and Road. Pizza Bandit was announced at the Summer Games Fest.
Go on.
And it had this trailer with a guy with a cybernetic arm making a pizza and then shooting a bunch of like weird fucking cyber zombies. And I was like, what is Pizza Bandit? And then they showed it, and it seems like it's some kind of like multiplayer, like you're gonna attack guys and then take their parts and make food out of it or something. It's strange because it seems like a kind of a survival horde mode type of thing, but then there's some kind of weird cooking element to it. It's like,
yeah, you're making pizzas still.
It's like killing floor, but then also cooking mama?
I have so many questions right now. The longer I look at it, the less sense it makes to me.
Yeah.
Because there's so much shooting going on.
Yep.
But then it cuts to them making pizzas in a restaurant.
Right.
Like, how does this work?
I don't know. There's like dragons and killer clowns and like cyborgs, but then also pizza ovens but then like shotguns and lasers and I don't know what. So, but yeah, that's in early access, August 25th. It is out now in early access.
I have so many questions.
We might need to do a video on this just so I can figure out what the hell this is, but Pizza Bandit, everybody.
Want pizza now, to be honest.
Yep. We have a game called Recur. I actually really like this. You play as a mailman, and this is kind of a side scroller, but it's like it's kind of a take on Super Hot. So when you move right, time moves forward, and when you move left, time goes backwards. And then so you're dealing with this kind of these cascading problems in this day, whereas you go right, things keep going wrong, but then you can go backwards and you can like one of the very first things that happens is the mailman comes out of this like area and these dogs are chasing him and then they go and they start fucking things up. Well, you can go backwards and then after you leave that area, you can close the gate behind you in order to keep the dogs from going out. So it's like a puzzle game, but it's very just like, move left, time goes one way, move right, time goes the other way. Yeah, I think that's a very simple and interesting concept.
What's great is it's not just even like super simple things. Like one of them is showing that he's keeping a train from derailing because of him going backwards. But I bet you it's one of those games that starts off kind of mundane.
Yeah.
Where it's like keep the dogs from attacking you or something. But by the time it's done, it's like and then everyone died. But if you go backwards,
right,
you can save everyone.
But it's also just a very nice, charming art style. Like it looks real. It's very kind of simple and clean and looks nice. So yeah, this was one that I saw and I was like, that one is on my list because that's the kind of concept that I'm really into. Yep.
No, it's a fun concept. It's This is the reason why indie games in general are where everything, all the creativity is at, because they're allowed to be able to
to just try some shit.
Yeah. Like EA was never gonna make that game type of thing.
We got the reveal for the next Rusty Lake game. I'm a big fan of these. It's like these point and click kind of macabre games with this very specific art style to them.
I know what these are then,
Yeah, this one's called Servant of the Lake, and it appears like you're going to go work for a house with some spooky weirdness, spooky secrets going on. Most of these are just kind of point-and-click adventures, but I've always found them to be way more engaging than a lot of the other point-and-click adventure stuff that's out there. Also, there's something about the art style where it's like, it's very basic, but it works.
Well, the reason it works is because it lulls you into a false sense of security.
Yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah.
Even though you know damn well that it's going to do what it's going to do, you still feel like it's not going to.
Yeah. That's coming spring of next year. So good stuff on the Rusty. I'm so glad because they've made like 7 or 8 games over the last like 4 or 5 years.
Did not know that.
It's been very good. For anybody who was curious, Hyperlight Breaker came out with a new update called the Double Down update. One of the big things is that Hyperlight Breaker, when it launched, it got kind of bad reception because people felt like there wasn't enough content in the game, and it appears like they've been adding a lot more. I don't really know all the specific details. Like once Hyperlight Breaker got really poor reviews, I kind of took it out of the rotation for doing a video on RageSelect. So
yeah, we stopped paying attention to it because you weren't even that big of a fan of Hyperlight
Drifter
stuff to begin with.
And then the one that came after it, the Void Breaker or whatever, no, that was a different game.
That was a different game, yeah. There's something else, but I know what you're talking about.
There was another game, and I wasn't a big fan of that either. So, but yeah, there's a new update. So if you've been waiting to see if you bought Hyperlight Breaker in early access, there's a big new update, and apparently it's got a lot more stuff. So give it a shot. We got an interview with Swery about Hotel Barcelona, which is coming out in like 2 weeks, I think.
It looks fucking fascinating still.
It's great. This is the Suda51 Swery crossover game where you play as a woman who's at a hotel, and the hotel is full of basically movie monsters, and then you're side-scrolling, action adventuring your way out of it. I thought it was interesting. One of the things that they said was that it's very difficult, but when you die, when you start the level over, your ghost from your last playthrough is there doing stuff. And it sounds like it's only one, so
you can just keep dying over and over again to make it like an unstoppable thing.
Right. So that, but it seems like so you have this kind of ghost that is like that's an interesting concept of a way of helping you get past the stuff you've already gotten past by putting some a ghost in there. But then if you're better at it, it's like you kind of need to reset it. Also, there's an implication that they're like the main character has some very specific dark backstory that gets unveiled and stuff, and I'm like, well, of course,
of course, this is them.
Yeah,
I love that he's holding a monkey. By the way,
he's just holding a monkey this entire time.
That's his plush, not an actual monkey.
Yeah, I like this. Can't wait to check this out. I hope it's appropriately fucking bug nuts.
Oh yeah, so. We're big fans of these people, so we're expecting some bug nuts bullshit.
Yeah. Let's see. Discounty got a launch trailer. This is kind of pixel art game. I did a Patreon video with John for this. I'm not sure when that's going up, but it's basically like you're running a supermarket in a small town, kind of Stardew Valley style.
Okay.
Where you kind of set it up and you stock it, and then you have to check people out and stuff. But then, as the trailer implies, there's also kind of like a question of like there's something spooky and weird going on in this town, and you're gonna have to uncover the secret garbage in the heart of Discounty. So looks good. I mean, it's got pretty good reviews, and of what I played, it seemed pretty decent. It's got a nice art style. I think that they made everything a little bit bigger than it was in Stardew Valley, so you can get a little bit more detail in the sprites. But very, very solid looking. So
yeah, it looks like it'll be a decent time if you're into this sort of thing.
Yep. Let's see. From there, we got a trailer for God's Death and Reapers.
Oh, this looks kind of neat.
This is like an ARPG where you play as like there's like death makes you into a new Reaper, and then you're getting sent into like worlds that have no gods to basically reap the souls of the recently dead. So there's kind of this extended intro, but then when they show the actual gameplay, it's basically like, it's like kind of a Diablo style top-down action. But then also it's an extraction game where you're trying to get like resources and then bring them back to build your afterlife back up.
Okay, that's weird.
A way you could throw that in there. You could throw the word extraction in to get some development capital, I guess.
Sure, I guess, yeah.
But it looks like a pretty decent ARPG, but then I'm trying to think, I don't know if I've ever watched a trailer for an ARPG and been like, that looks like trash. They all look fine. Like, you're blowing stuff up. And
we never could tell if they're trash or not until we play them.
Right.
Because we've had some where we're like, well, that could be cool. And then we played it and we're like, well, that was boring as shit.
Yeah. But kind of an interesting concept. So I don't know. One to keep an eye on. God, Death, and Reapers.
The concept is really what sells it, I think, in this one.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Really briefly, Michael, this is so weird. Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator are coming to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
Sure, why not?
So you no longer have to be on a PC to drive a big rig truck across the United States and deliver some cargo. And I remember we played this for a Sunday stream one time, and I was like, I kind of get it, but also... Nah.
I get it because these are made for Europeans.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean that as in like a fuck you Europeans. I mean, like, for some reason, everyone in Europe loves chore type games.
Yeah.
And
Farming
they love
simulators.
And a lot of them don't live in a world where driving is this big thing in their lives.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of them are just like, well, you just take the train everywhere you go type of thing. I'm like, well, I don't feel like fucking playing a game that's essentially a road trip simulator.
Yeah.
But they absolutely will. So yeah, it's good for you guys.
Michael, here's one I think that you will really enjoy. Wild Blue. We had heard about this before.
We did. We talked about it, I remember, at the time.
Yeah. This is Star Fox. This is somebody who was like, fuck you, I'll make my own Star Fox.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of animal people, and they're all great, like Bowie and Ro, and they got a little lizard guy. And... yeah, the ships they're flying are like legally distinct from our wings, but not that legally distinct.
No,
I think you look at
the main guy.
Look at the actual gameplay, and it's like, that's just fucking Star Fox, bro. Like, that's just fucking Star Fox.
And honestly, like, yeah, fuck you, Nintendo, for you have one of the greatest like concepts of a game.
Yeah.
And you just keep fucking it up.
You just keep not making it and then putting out bad ones.
And somebody's like, well, fuck you. I'll make my own goddamn Star Fox. And if you come at me, you better fucking come at me hard.
Yep.
Type of thing. Because that looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks great. Like, it looks so good.
It's exactly the type of art style that you should be doing with a game like this. And it looks so much fun.
The whole UI looks like Star Fox. Even like the way the reticle has like the two boxes that kind of that looks like Star Fox.
Everything is
very
Star Fox. Even this fucking symbol feels like a Star Fox type symbol.
Yep.
I love it. I'm very excited for this.
It's great. It doesn't have any like concrete release date, but I'm still interested.
This is exactly why indie development is a thing. It's for games just like that.
Bounty Star got a release date. I don't know if you remember this one. This is the one where it's like a dusty
I do remember this.
Western mech game where you play as like a lady with like a big mech that goes out on missions and stuff.
I remember the trailer for this.
Yeah, we haven't heard about this in a while. Like I have been keeping an eye open for it. It looks I like a mech game. This looks like a mech game that plus Western, and I'm like, sure. Red Dead Redemption, that's fine with me. But we actually have a full-on release, and that's going to be coming out October 23rd. Oh, yeah, I forgot. The full title is Bounty Star, The Morose Tale of Graveyard Clem.
Yeah, it's a great... I remember us being like really interested in this when they first announced it.
Yep, and it looks just as good right now. Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to see what they have to offer. Oh, right. That's what this one was. Well, you know what? We're kind of out of time. I think we've got a few of these left. I might skip one. I might skip that one. We'll just get the big highlights. But you know what? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we've got a crap load of news left to go. We'll finish up with these trailers and then get into it. So stick around. We'll see you in just a minute. And we've got a little bit more Gamescom left to go. It sucks because a lot of the best stuff was here at the end, Michael. Our next trailer is for Lost Helden. This is a new JRPG that's being made that's got a very kind of like painterly art style. And it looks just like a really solid, just JRPG-esque JRPG. It's got some interesting stuff going on. It's got like a turn-based combat system. I really like the art style to it. It just looks good. Like
and when he means JRPG, he means like an old school JRPG.
Yeah,
because even there's some shots that happen when he's walking around that feels like the way Final Fantasy like 7 through I think almost like 10. I think had it where it's like a kind of far away.
Right.
It's like
kind of
shot
fixed camera.
Yeah, and just the guy walking around. Yeah, and everything else kind of looks the same.
Actually, no, I should say that now that I look at the combat, it does look like it has a real time combat system.
It's got but. It's got it seems to vary on some of it because some of it looks like
because you could see like when they're doing this that you could see that like the different buttons are like kind of Kingdom Hearts style like on stuff, and then you could see that the characters are able to move around kind of in real time. But yeah, everything about this looks great. Like it looks like a solid RPG, and you know what? It looks like a lot of the indie RPGs have been getting better and better looking. One of the things that I don't like about some indie RPGs is that they end up looking kind of shoddy. But this looks like, if you told me this was the new Trails game, I'd be like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, because a lot of the original indie ones were like, let's try to make a 2D Final Fantasy again.
Right.
And then they would like make the sprite either too detailed or under detailed.
Yeah.
And it would cause it to just look weird.
Yeah.
And then anybody who tried to do a 3D one was one of the jankiest things you've ever seen in your life,
right?
Type of thing, and it's purely because indie development was not there yet.
Yeah,
even in my opinion, it wasn't for a long time. But I feel like everyone now has access to stuff to make things look really good with not as nearly as much effort as you used to.
Yeah.
And
so yeah,
the art style is so fun to look at on this one, and I think that's the reason this one will work.
Absolutely, it looks great. Let's see from there. We got a game called Serial World. Speaking of RPGs, this is so Earthbound coded that it's breaking my mind, but it's all okay. No, actually, no, sorry. When I first looked at it, I thought it was Earthbound coded. What it is it's Earthbound meets Pokemon as a roguelike.
Yeah,
Like,
I was about to say, because the beginning had a lot of Earthbound vibes,
Yeah.
but then the second was like, choose your animal, and I'm like, oh, that's Pokemon vibes
Right.
now.
Right.
But then it added even more shit that's also weird, and I'm like, oh, this is just... Because a lot of the enemies feel like Earthbound enemies.
Yeah.
But everything you're using is very Pokemon.
Right. But then it's also got a kind of like an almost like Slay the Spire or Darkest Dungeon style like map where you're going between different areas.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's got a lot of interesting stuff going on. I'm all in favor of whenever companies try to do their own Pokemon, because I think that Pokemon is set in its ways in a bad way, and I like it when other companies are just like, well, we can make a bunch of monsters that go in your pocket. Fuck you. So
Well, it's funny because for a while it felt like everyone was too scared.
Yeah.
And everyone who was doing it was like had Nintendo's backing in some way.
Right.
Because Yokai Watch was a good example of somebody being like, I'll make a Pokemon, but Nintendo was very much behind it.
Yeah.
Same with a few other ones that I know that came out that were definitely Pokemon. Like Digimon was the only other big one, but that one was more anime into it than it was gaming, which I think is the reason why Pokemon just left them the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Whereas the second that fucking what's the game that came out? The one with the guns.
Power World?
Power World.
Yeah.
The thing in Power World worked. Everybody's like, oh, thank God, I was already working on something. And now everybody's like, oh, I can make my own Pokemon.
There was one on the PC, and I never was able to figure out how. It was like, oh, we made our own Pokemon. And it was on the PC. And I don't remember what it was called, but there was one that was very specific, had a bunch of monster stuff on it.
You showed it to me. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, though.
So, and then like Ooblets, I think, had a little bit of that in it, too,
I can
where
see
you're
that.
kind of capturing the monsters. So,
But the problem is every now and then what'll happen is that somebody will go too far in the Pokemon direction.
right.
And the Power World is the only one that I felt like flew super close to the sun.
Yeah.
This one will be just fine because there's never a moment where he's like, Pokeball, go, or whatever.
Right.
He's like, it seems that he just meets the animals by themselves and they're just his friends.
Yep. Coming 2026.
It looks pretty fun.
Does indeed. Let's see. We also got a deep dive into Phantom Blade Zero. This is like one of these kind of Soulsy style games. I think we've seen this one a little bit before. I think it gets really gets lumped in with like Wu-Tang Fallen Feathers and like some of the other stuff that's out there. This one is like very wuxia. It's very like Chinese inspired. They talk about how they've got like more Chinese like traditional weapons in it than a lot of other places. They also talked about this developer went on and on and on about how like a lot of Souls games, you end up getting lost or having to like explore in a place you don't know where to go, and they're like, we don't want that to happen. So everything is very streamlined, and also they talked
sort
about
of appreciate that, to be honest.
Yeah, about it not being quite as difficult as a lot of those games. And I'm like, boy, you're speaking my language. He's like, yeah, we wanted to make something that was like a combination of like a Souls game and then like a good old third-person action game. And I'm like, thank you. These are all the magic words.
No, yeah, I was about to say, this is the first time somebody's made one of these games and is like, man, you have my attention, friend.
Yeah. So, and then I've seen this before. There's a boss fight that they show that's like a bunch of puppeteered like enemies.
Also, the animations for these attacks are super cool.
Yeah, they talked a lot about that, about how they did a lot of motion capture with this very like traditional Chinese kind of martial arts and weapon stuff. So.
Yeah, there was that great one where it showed the dude doing the spin, like, because I guess they had him on a wire.
Right. He jumped off the ground and
look like he's doing like a crouching tiger, hidden dragon type attack.
There's also this mechanic that I really like. I think you might have seen it a few times, where it's like you're doing an execution on an enemy, and it brings up a prompt, and that prompt then lets you chain attack another enemy on screen,
which is really cool.
And I'm like, yeah, man, great.
I'm a big fan of stuff like that. I don't remember the last game that did something like that. Was it Ghosts of Tsushima that did something sort of similar?
Maybe.
Where you could like assassinate one guy and then like turn into the next guy or whatever.
Yeah. It's actually something that I miss.
It was like a chain assassin.
In Metal Gear Delta remember in 5 where you could like chain between guys in CQC.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in this one. And every time you do it, it slows down. I'm like, wait, where's the prompt to go to the next fucking guy?
That was the coolest thing in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
I used it like crazy.
But this looks great. I think this looks absolutely fantastic. it's got my attention way more than like Wu Chang did. I'm much more interested in seeing what this does because it looks like a good combination of like martial arts and kind of dark fantasy things. So.
Well, it's doing the thing that we've always wanted people who get inspired by Souls games to do.
Yeah.
Be inspired. Don't just make another Souls game.
Yep.
Like, look at a Souls game, be like, this looks kind of cool, but what if I made it, like a normal game?
Right.
That's what we want, and I'm excited about that.
Let's see. From there, this is a really interesting game. This was just a animated trailer for Witchspire. And this is a game where you play as like a witch. Like there's a bunch of different witches. They all kind of have this very similar hat style, and you're kind of going out into the world and like you're building like a little area to do. I think you're doing kind of survival stuff and then going out into the world and attacking stuff. But the big thing here is that the art style is incredible in this trailer. Like it's a fully animated trailer and it looks really cool. There's like a lot of like kind of action. There's a part where there's like this little griffin that the main character like attacks but then makes friends with, and it's very cute.
That's funny. She attacks that griffin. The griffin's always like, how dare you?
Right.
What's wrong with you? I was just saying hi.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then later on in this trailer, there's like this kind of dark corrupting force, and unfortunately, the poor little griffin is like, I'm gonna help too, and then becomes like this horrible giant monster that has to be put down, and it's like, oh shit. But
that poor little guy.
Yeah, all the art and stuff in here. It's funny because they don't show any actual gameplay in this trailer. So I looked it up on Steam, and you can see they have like screenshots. It's like going to be a 3D kind of action game.
That's interesting.
And I think it looks really good. Like it's got some very nice art, some cute little animals, and like little kind of base building stuff, as well as what looks like some kind of cool witchy action. So yeah, looks great to me, at least.
I definitely see it. I definitely see why it looks. And yeah, the little animation is really cool because there's not a lot of things that do that sometimes.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then last but not least, we got a little bit of an interview for Pragmata. To be honest, I think we're going to kind of gloss over this because a lot of this is what we already know about, like, you're on the moon. There's this weird, like, element that can make stuff. You've got the little girl who's like a robot, and there's like this little puzzle thing that comes up in a Dead Space style that you can do to like knock down the shields on like the robots and the enemies that you're facing.
I have heard from some other streamers that this game actually plays really well.
Yeah,
because people have been able to get their hands on it finally after all this time. And to the point, because one of the streamers for specifically was like, "Man, I hate this game," because they would show it and then they would show nothing about it every time.
Right,
where it became a running gag. He's like, "Man, I think this game's going to be bad." And then they came out with one more trailer, and he actually like went and played it. And he's like, "Guys, I'm sorry to tell you this, but man, I fucking love this thing."
It's going to be interesting to see how the timing is on the game, because the idea of having to do this little puzzle, like with like the D-pad, while you're also in real-time combat, like that has to be tuned really well.
Yes.
But if it is, it could be great. But if it's not, it could be splitting your mind in a way that's going to make the game hard to play and unpleasant. So
I'm sure they have a way of like maybe making it more accessible too.
Yeah.
Because that's the best thing about current gaming gen is that everything's about accessibility.
Yeah.
So there's so many games that are just like, look, if you have a hard time with this, just turn on the accessibility to keep yourself from getting super annoyed by it.
And then the rest of it just looks a lot like Dead Space. Like as kind of a third person behind the back action type of thing, except you're fighting robots instead of weird goopy monsters. So
I'm interested.
Yeah, me too. And that was the Future Game Show. Well, that was half the Future Game Show.
Yeah.
There was a lot of other stuff that we didn't talk about. It was some of it was less interesting. Like I said, a lot of it was stuff that was interesting, but we already knew about it. Like we already knew about it. We already heard about it, even though we've already heard about Pragmata. But I don't know. I just like kind of cut it down a little bit. You know, some of it was also stuff that we had, like the Halloween trailer. Was there one more thing?
Oh.
But it's like we talked about that last week. So
Yeah, there's only so much you can talk about with Halloween.
Yep. All right, so let's jump into some actual news. One of the big things that's happened, I don't know that I saw this coming, Michael, was that a lot of indie games fucking backed up from the impact crater of Silksong now that it has an actual release date that was put out last week. So
it's a good move. This happens a lot of the times with bigger games normally.
Yeah.
And by that I mean like there are AAA games that like what was it, when Elden Ring first came out? I think a lot of people were like, we're gonna.
Well, the big story has been, of course, Grand Theft Auto 6.
That's right.
Is that everybody doesn't want to be anywhere near the release of Grand Theft Auto 6.
And then it got delayed, and everybody panicked because they were like, oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the list. Demon School, which I thought looks really good.
That does look really good.
Got delayed till November. Eterna Lucas got delayed to 2026. Little Witch in the Woods delayed till September 15th. Clover Pit delayed until September 26th. Mega Bonk until September 18th. Phaland delayed with no new release date. But then the one that made me the most angry is old Baby Steps.
That's really frustrating because Baby Steps is such a different type of game.
Yeah, and they even put out a trailer where they modeled like Hornet from Silk Song.
Oh, that's fun.
And then they have the guy from Baby Steps trying to kind of like walk up this giant model of the character, and then he falls off, and they have the new release date, which is September. It was like 23rd, September 23rd. Yeah,
that bums me out, but I get it because this is for indie people. This is the Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah,
because it's also a game that's been in development for a stupid long amount of time for an indie game. So
7 years for a side scroller,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
What if it sucks?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. Again, this was not something that I saw coming, and it sucks because I had to rearrange my entire schedule for next month because it was like Demon School, Baby Steps. Like a lot of these were games that I was planning on having us record for.
We were very excited for some of these.
Yeah. And unfortunately, now we got to wait a little bit longer. But I get it. It's not like there's no games coming out around the same time. It's just,
Yeah, it's just I kind of wanted to see how Baby Steps was because Baby Steps is such a fun idea.
Oh man, I had so much fun with the demo for that. It was just like it was such a trip. The other thing that we've seen is that the original Hollow Knight's peak concurrent player count is higher than it's ever been in the history of the entire game.
Oh my goodness.
Like the highest concurrent player count was probably in May of 2022. It was up to 20,000 concurrent players on Steam. Last weekend it was at 66,170 players. And
it's at 45 right now.
Yes.
Which is still twice as much as what you said for 2020.
Yes. And I was one of those people because I loaded it up last weekend and started playing it.
Not 12, you know what I mean? What we said. But yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's an instance of it's what I usually do, which is that when a game comes out, I play the one before it,
right,
to completion, and then play the next one.
Yeah.
Except now there's about a lot of people that probably never did play it, that want to do that and then play the next one.
Mm-hmm. I also noticed in my Reddit feed that a lot of the Hollow Knight subreddit is now buzzing with people asking about, asking questions about the game. Do I really need to play this before I play Silk Song? They're like, yes, no, yes. It's like so, but yeah, it's all a buzz. It's all a buzz right now.
Yeah, that between this and I don't know if you talked about the Helldivers. Was Helldivers in our news?
Yes. Well, there was what's coming up next in Helldivers, but we had the launch of the Xbox version of Helldivers.
Yeah, that one is the launch has really done well for that community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of memes that are really fun from it too.
One of the things that we found out last week was they're making an anime out of Sekiro No Defeat. There was a big question because I don't know if you saw the trailer for it, but it had a very strange animation style. Like it was very fluid. I've seen animes that kind of look that way before, but it like the company that is doing the animation for it has a thing on their website where they talk about using AI.
Oh.
And I think that because I'm showing Michael the trailer right now. I think you can see because of the way that it's like detailed in some places and then kind of flatter in other places. And there's a style of animation that is, I've seen it before.
Oh no, it's super common in animation,
but it's not, well, I don't think it's as common in a lot of stuff. Like you would see, it's a little bit rougher, right? It's more like what you see during big action sequences. Like I think the Mob Psycho, I think was it Mappa that did that or whatever, that they do this much more like sketchy kind of.
Yeah, they also when the first season of One Punch Man is a good example of that too.
Yeah, and so I think that people had a question about whether there was AI being used in some case here, and so, but the company came out last week and they said no, it's all being 2D hand animated. I can, it's funny because if you told me either way, based on the way that this looks, I would believe you, right? If they were using AI for some tweens or something, I could probably see that.
Yeah.
If they were using AI for some backgrounds, I could maybe see that. They're very generic backgrounds in this trailer. Or if you told me that they weren't using AI at all, I could buy that too. So,
well, that's the thing about animation is animation does such a good job in a way that like you can really tell when something's AI generated, at least when it comes to the actual characters themselves.
yeah.
Whereas the backgrounds, if you used AI to make some of the backgrounds, most people wouldn't actually care.
Yeah.
Overall, as long as it was a consistent background,
Right.
type of thing. Like as long as you're not being like, I need you to make sure the background is animated, and then you get that weird fucking like the trees are morphing into bushes type thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so yeah, as long as it looks good. Background wise, I don't really have an issue with the backgrounds.
Yeah.
But character wise, you definitely need somebody to be like the one doing that.
Absolutely. Let's see, another big updates, controversial updates. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 had a trailer last week at Gamescom, but one of the things that they announced was that there was going to be, they announced the like collector's edition, right? And one of the bullet points in the collector's edition was that 2 of the like factions that you could join in the game, that you could like become a part of, were exclusive to the collector's edition.
Oh, that's stupid.
It was La Sombra and Toreador were both like locked behind the $100 collector's edition, and this isn't like endgame content. This is like, when you choose a faction in Vampire the Masquerade, it changes the story.
Yeah.
So
this isn't a sword or something.
yes. So this week on the Bloodlines 2 Discord, they basically came out and said, quote, "We are listening to your feedback about the La Sombra and Toreador clan access. We're making adjustments ahead of the launch to reflect this. We'll share more information about what that means as soon as possible." I hope they do the right thing and they don't lock that up, because that's like a pretty significant chunk of, like
why lock something like that? That's insane. Like the only time that something like that happened that annoyed, that I remember getting backlash, but they never fixed it because it was a huge thing.
Yeah,
it was Mass Effect 3,
right?
When it was like, yeah, you don't get the
loyalty missions.
What is his name?
Yeah, the
alien guy.
Yeah,
who's from the people beforehand. I don't even remember. This is how long it's been since I played Mass Effect.
Yeah,
but he's a huge integral part of understanding the thing about the Reapers and like what and even lets you see what that version of the life was before the Reapers annihilated that one.
Yeah.
And that guy was weird as shit because he was like racist as hell. But it was this huge thing. Like it changed the whole dynamic of things.
It'd be like if Fallout 4 came out, but you couldn't play the Brotherhood of Steel quests unless you got the collector's edition.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, what, fuck yourself. Or if you could play Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion without the collector's edition, and you would be like, wait, no, like that's too much.
It's insane. It doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah.
And it's one thing for it to be a day one DLC. It's another that it has to be the collector's edition.
Right.
Which, here's the thing, collector's editions sell out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they were
the digital.
I'm sure they were doing the digital thing.
Yeah.
But every physical person is fucked.
Right.
Though in that case. So yeah.
That sucks. I hope they make the right decision, because that is a real boneheaded move, and I don't know how they didn't foresee this being a problem ahead of time. Like,
it's because they probably looked at everyone else and they're like, well, if you buy this one's collector's edition, you get this. But again, they're usually like skins of some kind, like like the Metal Gear Solid Delta one. If you didn't pre-order it, but if you buy the digital deluxe edition, you get the DLC pack that it had for free, essentially. Or if you bought, if you bought the collector's edition of Indiana Jones, you got the season pass for free, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
this is not a season pass. This is a fucking integral part of your story, and I don't understand why you would do something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, from there, we got some PlayStation news. So I don't know if you read this, but there was an interview with Herman Hulst, who's the
I watched a video about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The guy doing PlayStation, the PlayStation CEO with Financial Times, where he talked about like wanting to. It was a weird thing.
Yes.
And I think that this was meant to be comforting, but to me it was like ominous.
Oh, it sounded like a threat.
Yes.
It sounded like some 1984 bullshit type threat, if that makes sense.
They're talking about how the company is hoping in the future to keep like big expensive failures from happening. And one of the quote was basically, quote, "I don't want teams to play it safe, but I would like for us, when we fail, to fail early and cheaply." And what this means is that apparently PlayStation is going to be breathing down the necks of developers a lot more.
Yes.
In an attempt to make sure that nothing gets greenlit and spends 5 years in production only to waste $250 million. Which, like, on the one hand, okay, yeah, man, I get that. On the other hand, this comes up every so often, Michael. Games are art. There is no guarantee, like, for art. Like something, you know, how many BioWare games have we heard about that like sucked ass until the 11th hour when everybody fucking knuckled down, and then suddenly you get your fucking Game of the Year bullshit.
BioWare
like,
Magic, they called it.
Yes, even though I think that's horrible stuff.
It's the reason why a lot of other games fucked up at the end there.
Yeah. But yeah, the idea that like you're going to axe a game really early on in development, you know, that's the sort of thing that has to be handled really delicately, because you could have a concept that is like 30% fun, but it's not showing all the promise. But with another year of development, it could be the best game I've played this year. Like, so I don't know. I'm very torn about this because on the one hand, you know, Sony's shelling out money like everybody else, like a drunken sailor, to buy studios. And I'm sure that, you know, you buy Bungie and then Destiny fucking crashes the 6 months after you shell out the money for Bungie. But by the same token, I don't like the idea of the suits breathing down the creatives' necks to make sure that they don't waste a cent. Not a cent is wasted.
Yeah, the way he says it, there's the quote where he says like they now understand why oversight is necessary or something.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
Here it is, quote, "We have since put in place much more rigorous and more frequent testing in very many different ways. The advantage of every failure is that people now understand how necessary that oversight is."
It's a gross quote, but here's what I will say about it. The only thing I think it's necessary for are these live service games. If you're making like a single player action game or something, or even just a normal multiplayer game, you should leave those guys alone.
Yeah.
But if you're making a game like Concord or even like a Fortnite clone or something that
like
you
Marathon.
want, something that Marathon. If you're something that you're expecting to like be almost an arcade game in somebody's console,
Yeah.
that's supposed to just eat up money as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, have an oversight on those guys,
Right?
Because you're investing a lot of money into something that you're hoping to last a very long time.
Well, yeah.
And so that I'm like, okay, that's kind of fair. But if it's like Wolverine or something that's being made, you don't need a gigantic oversight on that guy.
Yeah.
Because that game's going to do just fine. Same with like, and even a new IP that's a normal ass single player game.
Yeah.
You should let them deal with their failures, because usually those don't cost $250 million a lot of times.
Right.
Those only cost like within the 50s usually.
Yeah.
And then the ones that cost that much are like their Grand Theft Auto level shit to begin with. So
yeah. I don't know. I mean, you know, the other problem with this particular mindset is that, like Sony, you know, they were greenlighting all of these live service games, right?
12 of them.
And I'm not going to say that I was interested in any of them or cared, but the bottom dropped out of the live service like industry, not due to any problem that Sony or like, you know, fucking Naughty Dog was making that Last of Us Online thing.
Yeah. And
it's like, it isn't Naughty Dog's fault that the entire market shifted over a year and that nobody gave a shit about these types of games anymore.
Yeah, the funny thing about a lot of these being greenlit at the time they were, it was the smallest time frame where these things were doing gangbusters.
Yeah.
And the reason was because no one could go outside.
Right.
And it's not like Death Stranding happened all of a sudden, and then all these live service games are going to be great again.
Yeah,
you have to make something that becomes a community who's willing to put the money into it. And Helldivers 2 is the only reason that one works is because it's not just this like, and then you have to do an extraction, and then
right.
And if you high five each other, you get extra things or whatever.
Yeah.
Where Helldivers is just like, it's you versus them. Like, so you're gonna let them fucking push your ass around, and everybody's like, hell no.
It's you versus what Joel? Is that the name of the guy that's running the thing?
The problem with most live service games nowadays is they're PvP, and no one gives a shit about PvP anymore.
Absolutely.
Where Helldivers is PvE,
yeah.
and everybody loves to be the guys that are like, we're gonna go kick those dudes' asses.
All right, we got a lot of this left, so we're gonna kick it up into lightning round. Pete Parsons is out at Bungie as studio head.
Oh no,
which is good. Very good.
Anyways,
yes, he's been working on. He was the head of Bungie since like 2015. As far as I'm concerned, I'm like, good. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but how will he feed his many cars? Now?
Right.
Yeah, that was the guy who bought those cars, by the way, if you're wondering.
Justin Truman is going to be the new studio head and put out a fucking milquetoast bullshit thing. So whatever.
This is the example of, I think, as far as we know, Bungie's going to get oversighted as fuck from now on.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I'm also glad that this motherfucker is out because it's like Bungie had to lay off a whole bunch of people, and I've been saying for a long time, I want to see CEOs getting laid off.
Yes.
So like, get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Activision is made a very controversial announcement. Speaking of strange online changes, so it's been announced that the Black Ops 6 player skins and weapon skins, a lot of those are just not going to be present in Black Ops 7.
It's an interesting reason,
yeah.
And it's one that I've been hearing people be vocal about, but at the same time, you guys are idiots for being vocal about that.
What do you mean?
Well, because the reason they're vocal about it, it's like, well, I want Call of Duty to be serious again.
Right.
I want my skins to be like...
You don't want Beavis and Butthead.
I want my skins to be like generic man number 5.
Right.
Who's army guy 8 or whatever. And it's like, look, I get it, but all you've done is just give Activision a reason to not have to do more work.
Yeah.
You've saved no one. All you've done is cause a lot of money to go down the drain for everyone who's paid for these things.
Right.
It's very anti-consumer in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. On the one hand, I ask myself, like, is there an expectation of people that if you buy a skin in Black Ops 6 that you'll be able to use it in Black Ops 7? Because with Fortnite, yes, but like, do people expect that? Because I don't know that that's always been the thing.
It's not, but the thing is that Activision already said they were going to do it originally.
Oh,
which
okay.
is
I
the
didn't realize
reason.
That part. Yeah,
because they were like, when they announced it, they're like, yeah, everything you got is going to go over to the new one. Because why wouldn't it? Type of thing is what they said. Because it's the engine's the same type of thing. Mm-hmm. But then everybody was like, but I want my Call of Duty to be serious.
Right.
And Activision's like, oh, we don't have to do more work. Oh yeah, we heard you guys.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that anymore. And that's because that's what the announcement actually is.
Oh, okay.
Is them saying, oh, we're not going to do it anymore now, but everything is going to still carry over to like the new version of Warzone or whatever, I think is what they said.
Right.
And so they're like, yeah, that'll still be fine. But your normal Call of Duty is, it's going to be a serious Call of Duty again. And it's clear because they're like, well, we don't have to do anything now. So
I mean, Black Ops isn't exactly, the new Black Ops doesn't look like it's serious. It's a bunch of cybernetic Halo fucking control ass weirdness.
That's why it's so stupid that these people were being vocal about it. Like, we heard you guys. We're not going to do that anymore. And it's like, no, you just didn't want to do it.
Well, I think the real reason is because Battlefield's breathing down their throat, right? Battlefield's looking really, really fucking serious.
That's one of the reasons the Call of Duty people are so fucking adamant. They're like, I want it to be serious because Battlefield's making us dumb.
Yeah. Which apparently Battlefield announced that they are toning down like jumping and sliding and some of the movement stuff from the beta. There was a skin. There was a there was a Twitch streamer that had this video. I wish I could find it here, that where they were watching like somebody playing Battlefield like it was Call of Duty. Like it's a really striking clip. Oh God, no, this doesn't. Okay, is this it? Yeah, where this guy is watching somebody play the Battlefield 6 beta, and they're like bunny hopping and like flick aiming and just like running and jumping and like just on this massive kill spree, and it looks a lot more like Call of Duty, right? It looks like the way that people play Call of Duty as opposed to the way that I think that they want people to play Battlefield. They also noted that they were toning down the length or the damage at a distance for the shotgun, because that was a thing that was a problem during the beta.
Yeah, not only does it look like the way somebody would move in Call of Duty, it looks like the way somebody moves in Fortnite.
Right.
Because it's a lot of the jumping and
bunny hopping and sliding. Yeah.
Just like it's... Did you ever watch the movie Hardcore Henry?
Yes.
It reminds me of that.
Yes. So, yeah, they're toning that down. I think that's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but it's a little sad only, but it's purely because not everyone can do that.
Right.
And because if they did, that game would be unplayable in my opinion.
Well, they're making it what it was like. Some of the stuff I noted is like the more times you jump in a row, the lower you jump.
Oh, well, that's an interesting
sliding
yeah.
Changes your aiming. Like it'll throw your aiming off more and stuff.
Okay.
So basically just to like try to keep people from doing that.
That's not a bad way of doing it though.
Okay, so we put these two stories together and we say people are tired of skins, and then also there's ridiculous shit going on. Overwatch 2 is getting a Persona crossover, Michael. I don't understand this story at all. At the end of the latest little Overwatch trailer thing that they put out, there was a little teaser where they showed like the silhouette of Joker coming out, and it was like, yeah, so apparently the Phantom Thieves are going to be coming to Overwatch 2. Speaking of games that are losing their identity entirely to the fucking crossover bullshit.
What frustrates me about Overwatch 2 is every skin like crossover they do is if they did that in Overwatch 1, I would have bought so many of them.
Yeah.
And Overwatch 2 has just... I've lost all my love of that game the second that game came out.
Yeah.
And they're constantly just like, hey, you want this crossover? And I'm like, get away from me. Like, stop it. It's like an ex that keeps buying you gifts and you're just like, get the shit out of my face.
Right. It's like that meme with the lady and the people coming into their cubicle where it's like Overwatch 1 selling
exactly
skins
that.
and Overwatch 2 hello HR.
Like if Fortnite keeps walking up to me being like, here's the Power Ranger skin.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you're sweet. Here's the Persona crossover. Hello?
Yeah.
HR, get the I need security now.
Speaking of weird skins, it looks like from some data miners that Deadpool might be next up in the Marvel Rivals.
I'm surprised he hasn't happened already.
Yeah, this is based entirely on a bunch of voice lines that are in the game that seem to be referencing Deadpool, although there's only one or two that actually have the word Wade in them. A lot of them are just like Rocket reacting to somebody that sounds like they could be as goofy as Deadpool. Also, I think there's a rumor that Daredevil might be coming pretty soon as well. So
there's a lot of huge Marvel characters that are still not in the game, and I think could last forever.
Let's see. In other online news, Helldivers 2 looks like their next update is going to be going back to the bugs. They've been doing the Illuminate for a little while, and at this point, they're going to be going to actual terminated homeworlds. As part of this release, they talked about how there's going to be like underground like hives and shit that you're going to have to go down into, as opposed to just other stuff on the surface.
That sounds awesome, though.
So,
and I heard that they're adding like flying gigantic ones or something.
Yep. And also, but then there's this from a Kotaku story. It says new objective types will include escorting a giant moving oil rig as it gets attacked.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh good.
The fun thing about the Xbox users coming in is they're all destroying the Illuminate specifically.
Oh, okay.
Because every one of them, they all have that
ODST.
They're all ODST guys, and they want to live the ODST experience.
Right.
And the only way to get the ODST experience is the Illuminate specifically.
Right.
And my God, they're slaughtering the Illuminate at an alarming rate.
Excellent. Speaking of Microsoft, Xbox Cloud Gaming Xbox Game Pass Core and Standard is getting a bunch of cloud gaming updates. This used to only be available on Ultimate, but they're now basically adding some, games that are on the games that are in your library or games that are on those Game Pass versions that you can now stream via the cloud.
I guarantee you this is because of the handheld.
Oh, because of the ROG. Xbox Ally.
This is a way of getting people to be like, if you buy the thing, all you have to do is have a classic, and then you can stream your games on here.
Yeah,
type of thing. That's the only reason I bet you they did that.
Probably. Let's see. Gears of War Reloaded came out on Steam. One of the big problems, there's been some like crashing and stuff, but one of the big issues on Steam is that it had split screen co-op in the description on the webpage on Steam, and when it launched, it did not have split screen co-op. Now, the previous Gears of War release has split screen co-op on the PC, and I believe the original, when it was released on the PC, has split screen co-op.
Yeah.
So the idea that this new remaster does not, for some reason, and everybody's like, why?
Yeah.
Like that's a classic feature of Gears of War. How could you not? Like, how could you not do this?
It's a big deal for those old games, especially for older fans.
Yeah.
When Halo Infinite didn't have it, people lost their fucking minds.
Yeah. So they're investigating. Apparently, Gears is investigating the crashes.
Marcus Phoenix himself is looking into it, guys.
If I had to guess, I bet that they'll probably patch that stuff back in pretty soon. So.
Yeah, it's probably something that got turned off somewhere on accident.
Either that or they just didn't prioritize it. Now they got to scramble and work nights and weekends to just shove it back in there.
True. There's that too, yeah.
Let's see. Forza Horizon 6 has had some interesting leaks, and it appears that the current leak is that the setting for Forza Horizon 6 will be Japan.
Oh, that's fun.
There was a classic car place that was doing scans for this, that was scanning in... It's called like a K car, which is like a Japanese specific kind of boxy little car that you don't see in any other territories. And then this week there was an announcement that Forza Horizon 6 will be announced at the Tokyo Game Show. And so everybody's like putting these two things together and saying that it's almost certain that Horizon 6 will then be set in Japan, which is probably a good move for them.
That's a great move because
like going from like Hawaii to Mexico was... You know, there's a difference, but it's not as big of a difference as like going from Mexico to Japan.
Yeah, and the other thing is that racing is huge in Japan.
Yeah,
like there are whole animes dedicated to drifting.
Yep,
and there's a whole Fast and Furious movie about it. So this is exactly what you should be doing with a game like this.
Yeah. So we'll find out that September 25th through 28th is TGS. So we'll see what happens. Acclaim is also having a showcase.
That is a name I have not heard in a very long time.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is that Acclaim was a big thing in the 80s and 90s. They shut their doors in 2004. They were acquired then in 2010 to do, or no. They were revived in 2006, and they did a bunch of free online bullshit video game stuff. Nobody cared. They were shuttered again in 2010. Recently, they were revived by Russell Binder at Stryker Entertainment, Mark Kaplan at Ridge Partners, and pro wrestler Jeff Jarrett. And they say that the new Acclaim is going to basically be like an indie publishing house. So they're going to be looking at using their resources to basically fund and publish smaller indie games. And I'm like, that could work.
That's what you should do with something like that, because Acclaim is okay. Here's what I'll say about Acclaim. Acclaim, as stupid as Acclaim was in the 80s and 90s,
yeah.
But every licensed game was made by them, and I mean like every fucking licensed game was made by them. That everyone knows their name. So if you use that name for just coming out with like just games in general, I think it will do great for them because you can just be like new Acclaim game,
right?
And that gets people's thoughts right away, even though Acclaim had a very bad reputation for, and still kind of does, but at least you can be like, well, that's interesting, what does that mean for it? Because they're not, like they said, there's a quote that I saw in there, they're like, we're not chasing ghosts, we are letting people make their own games. This isn't like, hey, you remember that one Acclaim game from like 1995? Well, it's back in POG form or some shit. Like, no, they're like, no, if you have a game and you want it to be made, come to us, pitch it, and then maybe we'll put it in our release thing, which is exactly what you should do with something like that.
Yep. So September 10th, we'll get to see what happens at the Play Acclaim showcase. We also got news that there's probably another Switch 2 showcase coming in mid-September.
It's going to have Acclaim games. I'm just kidding.
It's nothing but Acclaim games. Yeah, this is a rumor from Switch Force, which is a leaker that has had a pretty decent reputation so far.
They've been pretty good about it.
Yep.
I know. I'm curious if they do another one, if we'll get like a big first party title that isn't just That isn't just Mario. I'm curious.
September 13th is the 40-year anniversary of Super Mario Brothers.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
they're going to announce Chris Pratt voices him from now on.
Yeah. So if they did do one on September 13th, it's like it would be nice if there was a new Mario game. It might be nice if they put that Mario collection back on sale, the one that they put on for a very limited amount of time.
I still have it, luckily. It's actually really hard to get now, apparently. But there are games that don't really... Like, I think like all they need to do is just put them on that GameCube thing for some of them, except for the Galaxy. They just need to make Galaxy again. If anything, they should come out with the original All-Stars one again for like... Because you can't just play...
Oh yeah,
the original All-Stars anymore.
All-Stars.
Like they should make just one gigantic All-Stars series, the way like Konami did for like Castlevania and stuff. Just like put all these Super Mario Brother games together.
Just remake Super Mario All-Stars with a very modern art style, and it would probably be fine.
Actually, you know what they should do? This is a game. I'm annoyed they have never done is re-release the DS games, the new Super Mario Brother games.
Oh yeah,
those aren't on anything. You can't play them anymore at all.
That'd be great. Put that on the Wii U.
No, but that's the Wii U one.
Yeah,
like because the original new Super Mario Brothers, the original new Super Mario Brothers was a remake of Super Mario Brothers 1 in general.
Yeah,
and it had the gigantic mushroom.
Oh right,
that made you do things. Like it's a unique game of those games, and it's on, and you can't play it on anything.
That's true. Let's see. Also, we got a kind of disturbing report that apparently Nintendo is not really shipping dev kits for the Switch 2 right now.
That's weird as shit.
People are having a hard time getting copies of the Switch 2 dev kits. Apparently one developer had said that like when they asked for one, Nintendo said, "We'll just make it for the Switch 1 and backwards compatible." And instead of using a Switch 2 dev kit.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if this is because of hardware shortages or what, but like, you know, it could be that they're more focused on making sure that Switch 2s get into consumer hands than they are into developer hands, but it also doesn't seem like a great move to hamstring people who want to put their game on your platform from putting their game on your platform.
In fact, it's a very bad move because this is kind of... I'm not saying this specifically, but what killed the Wii U was a lack of support for third-party developers.
Yes.
And also that third-party developers didn't even want to do it.
Yeah.
So in this case... You're now telling your third-party developers that you don't even care at this point. So this is a fucking gamble, guys. Like, you're going to fuck this up if you're not careful.
We'll see.
Unless they're only like, we only have so many, like you said, a hardware thing, and they're only giving it to like big developers or something.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing I can think of.
Let's see. We also have the news apparently from Gamescom. Digital Foundry got a chance to take a look at the Elden Ring on the Switch 2, and apparently, we're talking about Metal Gear performance. Apparently, the performance on it is dick. Like
that sucks.
Like it's fine when you're in the intro area, but as soon as you go into the open world, apparently it just tanks and like completely chugs. And that Bandai Namco is like not letting people film it. Like
wow.
There's like one like phone camera, like they're not doing any capture for it because so we don't know if that's a thing that'll be fixed before the game actually comes out, but
was it in the handheld mode when that happened?
Okay. Yes.
So we don't know what it is dock wise.
Yes, true. But it is disappointing because I don't know, I guess there's part of me that was like, am I going to buy Elden Ring again? And I was like, probably not. But with this, definitely not.
Oh, and there's no reason for you to, because Jeff, you don't walk around with your Switch or anything.
That's true.
Like it's not like you're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna be at my parents, so I'm gonna play Elden Ring, and you pull out your Switch kind of thing.
Yes.
If you did, you just pull out your PlayStation Go.
Yeah,
or whatever. Or I forgot what it's called.
Portal.
PlayStation Portal.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing.
Let's see. And then to wrap it up, we got two more here. Weird story. Atari apparently has purchased the rights to 5 different Ubisoft games.
That's an interesting thing.
Yes. And wait until you hear what 5 games we're talking about, Michael. Cold Fear, I Am Alive, Child of Eden, and then Grow Home and Grow Up. Like... What?
I barely know what Cold Fear is because some people I've been watching on YouTube randomly played it.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I know what that
Resident
game
Evil
is.
on a boat.
Yeah. You're a fucking like what are you? You're like a Coast Guard guy or whatever on a boat. It's the only reason I know what this game is.
And like I Am Alive is that weird like survival game.
Yeah.
Where the trailer where the guy was walking across the glass and the skyscraper and it was like Oh, that was a weird one. And then I really liked both Grow Home and Grow Up and Child of Eden, to be honest.
No, those last ones are like, oh, these are actually games that people I do know played.
But then the question is, what is Atari going to do with them? Are they going to put out like remasters, or are they going to like, because Atari, you know that Night Dive is owned by Atari.
Is it? Oh, that's right. You were telling me about that. Yeah.
So it's possible that they might just be hoovering up old games that nobody gives a shit about in order for Night Dive to put them through the ringer and then put them out and be like, hey, you remember Cold Fear? You want to play Cold Fear? You give me $8. You can play Cold Fear.
That would be really funny if Night Dive gave Atari a list. Hey, we have this list of games, and they're like, no one gives a shit about these. Like, yeah, that's why they'll be easy to get. They're like, okay.
Yeah, because I can only imagine what Ubisoft would want for any of this.
Yeah, I don't. They probably were like, we own those. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
Cold Fear? Are you doing know Cold Fear?
And then last but not least, there's been some chatter about whether Clair Obscur Expedition 33 will be getting some DLC, and it is basically all but confirmed. So
that's good. That game did so much better than anyone expected.
Yeah. Apparently, the director was being interviewed by Mr. Matty Plays. When they asked about the DLC, they said, there may be, but it's a bit too early to say. And then said, we may be cooking, and then like winked. And it was like, I mean, at this point, that's, of course they would make DLC for that game. Like,
you'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, the iron is hot. That iron's so hot right now. So smash it. Smash that iron.
I'm curious where it'll go, though. Is the thing. Or maybe he's going to announce a sequel. That would be fucking funny.
Well, they've also said that they want to tell more stories in that universe. So basically, there's been some question of like, if it seems like it's done phenomenally well, it would behoove them to, one, put out DLC setting up a sequel, and then two, immediately transition into working on a sequel, and then get that out within the next 2 years while people are still have it fresh in their minds. So
it's such a unique thing, that game, and I'm happy that it did well.
Yeah, me too. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Gamescom has just trailers on trailers on trailers on trailers on trailers. So we got more trailers. So stick around, and we'll get to that in just a minute. And we're back. And that means it's time for more trailers. It's trailers on trailers. 2 weeks of just like trailers, news, trailers.
Yeah, it's like a trailer park.
Sandwich.
Yeah.
So one of the trailers that we got this week was actually a development update for Replaced. I don't know if you remember Replaced, Michael. It was this kind of pixel game where you played as like...
Oh, I do remember this.
Like a person that had like an AI shoved in their head or something like that. That we saw like years and years ago. And then there was like a 13-minute like demo of it last week. And so they came out with a development diary showing that they've like reworked a bunch of stuff. They've got a bunch of animations, and that it basically, the big question everybody has had for a while, because when this was first shown off, people were like, yeah, I'll play that. When the fuck does it come out? And there hasn't been a release date for it.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a very long time.
Yeah, but apparently there is now a release date of 2026, and later this year they're going to have like a full-on finalized trailer with an actual date. So
damn, they changed everything based on the way this thing looks.
Yep. They redid a lot of the backgrounds, they said, to make them like look better and to have more like cohesion with like the story. It still looks absolutely fantastic. Like this kind of 2D pixel based thing. One of the things I think it was known for was that it had a very kind of like Arkham style combat.
Yes.
Of like punching and like reacting and stuff.
It was super striking, and I remember there were trailers for this for constantly. To the point where we were looking over it over and over again.
Yeah. I think it was first announced like in E3 2021.
Yeah.
Back when there was an E3. So, but yeah. So good that we'll get to see more about that. Let's see. We've been talking a lot about the dumb crossover stuff. Well, guess what? The next dumb crossover in Fortnite is in the rock band mode or whatever. Yeah, the festival. Fortnite Festival is getting the Gorillas.
It's currently out now at the moment. I think it started beginning of this week or something.
Yeah.
Two of them are part of two of them you have to buy.
Oh, okay.
You have to buy 2D and I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Oh, Noodle.
You have to buy 2D and Noodle as skins. The other two are part of the pass.
Russell and Modoc? No, that's
No, yeah.
Mordoc?
Mordoc, I think is his
something
name.
like that.
Something like that. It's been a long time.
Modoc is a machine designed only for killing.
Yeah. I think it's just Murdoch. I don't know. It's been a while.
Murdoch.
But so they're part of that, and you can buy some Gorilla songs that are on there too. And there's like, emotes that are Gorilla related. But yeah, they're all out at the moment. But I'm a big fan of the Gorillas. And they're, if anybody needs to be anyone like fits this weird ass genre, it's these guys.
Yeah.
Because I love the Gorillas. I'm such a big fan of them.
Also, I mean, like later on, I think that I talk a lot about like thematic weird dissonance, but like isn't Noodle like an assassin in the later Gorillas?
I think
stuff?
so. Yeah.
Like she actually has like a machine gun and stuff, and so you're like, well, that could actually make sense.
The
I don't know about
craziest-
Russell, but like,
Oh yeah, I don't know about all the rest of them, but yeah, it's crazy that Noodle it's crazy that these characters are allowed to age.
Yes.
Which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's good that Noodle is now a grown adult, so she can have like a normal skin,
right,
type thing.
I really wish though, out of all, I mean, like this is just wish casting, but the one that I want is the Andre 3000 Ghost or whatever,
Yeah,
like the Ghost.
I would love that.
from Clint Eastwood.
You can buy the song Clint Eastwood for the game now.
Yeah.
And there's there was that change a long time ago where you can make the song play if you either win or when you're like coming down.
Oh, okay.
So you can now just have that ghost singing to you as you're coming down.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a trailer for My Hero Academia All's Justice for the battle system. It looks like actually that's not true. I was gonna say it looks like a pretty simple like arena fighter, but it's a 3v3 arena fighter where you've got to beat up like you got to go through all 3 health bars, and you can do like swaps to bring people in like mid combo. You can use swaps to avoid stuff. It looks like they've got kind of a rock paper scissors thing with like regular attacks and power attacks and blocks and counters and stuff that all kind of fit together.
Yeah, this is the most I've ever seen one of these games go into like actual mechanics.
Yeah.
I've played them, and I know you have, where they're just like they were always very basic, but this actually looks like a lot of stuff is happening.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a little bit more than your normal everyday thing. The only problem that I had is that this trailer has all the English voice acting in it, which makes my brain hurt because I'm like, that's not what Deku sounds like. What are you doing? Get the fuck out of here.
That's fair. Yeah, they no, it reminds me of those Naruto games where they added like where they actually had a lot of like really specific mechanics and stuff. If you knew what you're doing, you could do some really cool shit.
They also mentioned that they are going to have like a kind of a like a lot of fighting games these days, they're going to have a more basic auto mode that's easier to use than just like the full on mode. So
That's fun.
I don't know. It's like I'm. It's weird because My Hero Academia is probably one of my favorite animes, and yet I'm strangely unexcited by the games because it's like they're all just, and you could fight that one guy from the series, and I'm like, I think I just would prefer to watch that fight happen on my TV and go, oh no, best genist, oh no. Like,
the problem with a lot of here's the thing. The problem with anime games is that the majority of them are done cheaply.
Yeah,
is the best way I can put it. Because as much as you'll be like, I love this anime, and I would love to play the story of this in like a really cool way. The problem is that a lot of the new animes already look really good.
Yeah.
So when you make a Dragon Ball game and everything looks really good, that's because Dragon Ball Z was made in like 1992,
right?
Type of thing. So of course it's gonna look a lot better looking. Yeah. Whereas when you watch My Hero Academia, you see some like really cool animated fight scenes, and then the game actually looks worse in comparison.
Right.
And so you find yourself just not as excited about it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, like it's still got to be a game, right?
Yeah.
They can't make it look as dramatic as it does in the show.
Exactly.
And so part of me is just like, I don't know, man. I think I'd rather just fucking drink beer and watch season 6 of My Hero Academia.
Like there's that shot at the very end. Hold on, I go back for a second. And You can see exactly what I mean. Like of him, it's supposed to be this cool like Deku doing this final attack looking thing, but he looks so like weird because of the way it's designed and stuff in 3D. You're just like, that just doesn't look as cool as it probably would in the actual anime itself.
It's also weird because I think the 3D in this looks worse than a lot of anime games that we've seen recently.
Yeah.
Like the Dragon Ball stuff, I know that's because of Toriyama's like art style is easier to recreate in 3D, but we've seen other like the Honkai Star Rail, like other kind of anime in 3D that I think looks a little bit better than this. But
they put a lot of work into those Dragon Ball ones, and they put so much money into those Dragon Ball ones that every other anime game looks like shit in comparison.
Still, I'm sure we'll play it, but by the same token, it feels like Dragon Ball is the only franchise that has leveled up their games to the point where like the games would stand on their own even if they weren't Dragon Ball games.
I think One Piece is one of the only other ones, but that's only their RPG stuff, I feel.
Yeah. Well, speaking of anime stuff, Digimon Story Time Stranger got a new trailer. This one was very weird because like it's hard to describe. I watched this like yesterday. It's hard to describe, but like there's this whole, it seems a lot darker than like any, because I think about Digimon, I'm like, oh, that's just edgy Pokemon, right? And then, but like this trailer is, it's like this woman and this little kid, and she like rescues him, and there's like some kind of organization. It's like, no, he's going to bring the apocalypse. And there's all this like, it looks like a Final Fantasy thing, like more like these giant, weird areas full of what appears to be like much more dramatic and violent story beats. And then, sometimes it gets a little goofy because you get something that looks like a Digimon. I always thought of Digimon as like a bunch of children. And this is like adults and like huge explosions and like towers and all kinds of stuff that I'm like, this looks a lot more up my alley than every Digimon thing I've ever seen up until this point.
As far as I know, this is essentially what later type Digimon becomes.
Oh, okay.
Because like beginning Digimon is like, it's the adventures of kids, although there's some fucked up shit going on because it's an anime.
Right.
Because the English version made it nicer.
Yeah.
But like it still has these like very fucked up moments. Like for instance, there's this great thing, even they had to keep it because there's no way to write around it, where the main character essentially abuses his Digimon so much because he's like, I need you to evolve to your third thing.
Yeah.
And it turns out if you abuse your Digimon enough, that they will evolve, but as like a horrifying skeletal monster instead of like what they're supposed to be. And it's this really like fucked up moment.
Okay.
And it's like, but like, and that was in the first chunk. But I've talked to people who've watched Digimon as gone on, because I remember, because there's stuff in these trailers that you see where people are like wearing essentially their Digimon.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, oh, that happens in like season 4 or something, or season 5. And I'm like, I don't know.
Okay.
He's like, where did this story go? Type of thing.
Because
he's like, yeah, they got more fucked up as it went along.
Because as far as the games go, which is the main, I've never watched Digimon.
Yeah.
Well, because the last time I looked into watching Digimon, I think they had done like a remake of the original one. So it was a bunch of little fucking kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to watch little fucking kids. And then the games are always like, here's a bunch of little fucking kids with their Digimon. And I'm like, fuck them little fucking kids. But like this trailer has adults and like apocalypses and giant swords and fucking all kinds of boobage and stuff.
The thing I've heard about this game as well is that everyone who's like a journalist or whatever has played it, actually really likes it too. Apparently, like so apparently this game could be like a big thing if they play their cards right.
Okay, it's interesting because I've been watching the trailers for this, and a lot of the previous ones have focused a lot on the Digimon, but this one focused a lot on the characters, and I was like, it seems like there's an interesting story here that I would actually be interested in finding out more about. Weird. It's funny because I feel like Digimon, unlike Pokemon, it was allowed to age up with its audience. Yeah,
and I think that's why we have a game like this.
Okay,
because you look back at when that Digimon first came to here, all the games were like the generic, like almost trying to be Pokemon like type games, and then you compare it to now and you're like, what in the fuck happened here?
Right. Yeah, this looks like some of this looks like Evangelion or something. I'm like, what is happening? So
Digimon gets really crazy the more it goes on, because the kids actually grow up in some of them. And
then I like the idea it's like weird time paradox stuff and like fucking time police and I don't know. It seems more this is the most interested I've been in this trailer, because there was a lot more fucking grown-up shit happening in it.
Absolutely get that.
Super Robot Wars announced their some DLCs.
Oh, fun.
This is really fun. I sent this over to Matt. I swear to God, I'm going to get a Super Robot Wars Y video out there because this game came out. But yeah, so the first DLC has Galaxy Cyclone Brager. I have no idea what that is.
No, I've never
Outside
heard
of the fact that this mech has like a big mustache, a big weird mustache.
They definitely are is a mech that probably a lot of people have referenced at some point.
But the Big O.
Oh my God! Yes,
The Big O is going to be in
I
here
love
as
the
well.
Big O. The Big O is such a fucking fantastic anime. If
I
you guys
just
have
need
never
to
watched
have them
it.
have the theme song in there.
If you buy that, I bet you there's a special DLC anime music pack that has it.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens with those.
And then Futo P.
Oh, there's Kamen Rider guy.
Yeah, Futo P, Portrait of Kamen Rider Skull, which is a Kamen Rider wearing a white fedora, and he's got like a Punisher skull style, and he's just like shooting at people with a gun. And I'm like, I don't know anything about Kamen Rider, but this is weird.
I never saw it. I know only like the smallest things about them because these are just normal guys. But why are they fighting like kaiju-sized people?
Well, I don't think they are.
Are
like,
they not?
When you look at
Okay.
this, it looks like it's smaller. I don't know. Because, like, I was thinking about it, I'm like, well, it's Super Robot Wars, not Super Kaiju Wars.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to be gigantic. So, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, because these are like I know for a fact these two are just normal-sized people.
Yep. The other one is Kamen Rider Double.
Yeah.
Where it's like
He's
two
an
guys.
interesting one. Yeah, he's like two halves is one thing.
And he changes from regular to like, it's like fire and metal or something, heat and metal, and then he turns red and white. So
Yeah, he's got a big W on him.
I don't know anything about.
It's a very popular Kamen Rider show.
don't know anything
apparently.
about Kamen Rider.
I haven't watched a lot of the Kamen Riders past a certain point, but my
Yeah.
God, if you asked John about these, he would have a lot to say
He
about
is
it.
very excited. He is very excited. DLC 2 is going to have, I don't know any of these, Koetsu Jeg, Koetsu Jig,
Kotetsu Jag.
Kotetsu Jig.
So it's like a tiger thing.
Yeah, who's like very like 70s old school, got a big ears
This
coming
is the
out
one
the
thing
side.
I'll always say about Super Robot Wars. It makes me curious about a lot of these mechs that I've never heard of.
Yeah. And then
But they're
also
all beautifully done.
this one, Dynamic Planning Original Getter Robo, the Jet Black Drifters, which is the edgiest robot I've ever seen in my life. He's a giant black robot with a cape. A tattered black cape, and he
even his-
pulls out a giant gun
Yeah.
and starts just shooting at people.
Even his like pilot looks like an edgy motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm like, I kind of want to know what this is. Like, this is weird. And then Brave of the Legend, Dagarin, who just looks like the most
He looks pretty cool.
generic giant robo of the 1980s. Like,
He's got a laser sword.
yep, you got the Dagarin blade.
Good for them. I'm a big fan of these weird fucking things they've done.
Yeah.
Super Robot Wars is like the ultimate, like, if you like giant robot anything, it's great to see them like combined and stuff. It's fucking weird, but I love it.
Yeah.
There was another Kamen Rider there too. That Kamen Rider
Yeah,
Excel.
it looks like a bunch of Kamen Riders. But yeah, so yeah, that's what's coming in the first couple of DLCs. There you go. Let's see. After that, we got the launch trailer for Space Adventure Cobra: The Awakening. Speaking of anime bullshit, a lot of anime bullshit this week. Amanda and I actually played this. It's a pretty okay side-scrolling action game. It's based on this old anime. This guy with the blonde hair and the red jumpsuit.
I only know him because he was used in a music video years ago.
Yep, the music video for "Girlfriend" by Matthew Sweet had this anime in it. It's interesting. It was very interesting. Amanda, I think, was desperately. I think it was like one of the Pluto TV or one of the, no, Pluto TV only has the Spanish language version of this show. There's like another one that has the actual full on thing because it's like one of those 1980s. You know,
Yeah, it's an old school anime thing because it's also a movie too. I think.
I think. Well, it might be, but it might be just like they combined everything into a movie.
That happens a lot.
type of thing.
There's those Gundam ones that are like that.
Yeah, but yeah, this is pretty fun. You guys should go check out the dojo and I don't know if you're interested, maybe go buy it. Even though there's a lot of good stuff out right now. We got another Borderlands 4 story trailer. I gotta say, Michael, that the more I see, I don't know if you were on when we talked about the last one of these. I don't think you were.
No.
They've made a series of like character trailers for the hunters in Borderlands 4.
Oh, okay.
Like explaining their backstories. And this is like God, I forgot what the one of the corporations, it's like she's the one that made all of their, is it Malawan, I think? She made all of the tech for Malawan and then she's like stealing it back.
Oh, okay.
I actually went and looked up the actual stuff that this character does, and they appear to just be making like giant kind of gravity bubbles.
Okay.
Seems less interesting than some of the other ones, but it's nice to see they're actually trying to do the work of getting me excited with Borderlands 4, where it's like, well, Randy Pitchford opens his mouth and that's -2, so you got to give me a trailer that's like +3 in order to like make up for the the psychic damage that's been done by Mr. Pitchford. So.
Yeah, and this just the psychic damage of Borderlands 3 itself.
That's
type
true.
Of thing. Borderlands 3 did nobody any favors.
Yeah,
even the Borderlands fans I know were like, no, that game was garbage.
Apparently, they really went. They tried to make this one a little bit more grounded, a little bit less silly than Borderlands 3. So,
well, it helps that they're trying to make you care about these characters, because that was the thing about 3, or that a lot of people hated. They're like, I don't care about any of these people.
Yeah,
in fact, I hate a lot of these people.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there was another one in between this one and the one that we talked about before, but like I actually like what I'm seeing here. I don't know. Could it possibly be that I would enjoy Borderlands 4? I really want to, but
it all depends on what happens with the humor.
Right.
Because one of the problems I remember you having with Borderlands 3, you're like, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's not funny, and then the drama parts of it were like weird, and I didn't. It was all just like talking about the Lilith and the fucking whatever they're called,
it like treated
wraiths or whatever.
It also treated like the legacy characters kind of badly, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think everybody should go check it out. So we'll see what happens there. Michael, you'll never believe it. No Man's Sky, new update.
God damn it.
This one's pretty cool. This one's called Voyagers. This one allows you to build your own ship.
Oh.
Like if I went and looked this up, it looks like the Starfield interface of like you build the parts and then you attach them. But then one of the big things is that you can then, instead of just like warping out of your ship, you come out of the cockpit and you can walk around inside of the ship and decorate it, and you can actually open up the bays and like walk out of the ship. So instead of just the teleportation in and out of the ship, you can build your own custom ship, all the colors and cosmetics, and then you can put modules in it. You can invite your friends into it. You can put different stuff. And I'm like, duh, you're speaking my language again. No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Just make a sequel at this point.
Well, they are. Well, sort of. The Catch No Fire or whatever it's called. The Light No Fire.
Are they at least charging for this time?
Nope.
God damn, guys.
Free fucking update. Well, I think that the thing that we had a news story before they talked about where they'll make stuff for that new game and then backport it into No Man's Sky
God damn,
as a tech thing. But this looks so cool.
It looks amazing. I can never get over how No Man's Sky went from like, wow, this is the most underwhelming game I've ever played, to this is the most, I can't hold on to all this content.
Right.
And they keep coming back going, here's another one, and another one, and another one. I'm like, I just want to go home.
Yeah. Apparently, the guy I watched a video where a guy was talking about like, they even put it in a way where like the different parts, when they like overlap, some of them are like built so that if you overlap two parts, they look like one part, so you can like merge parts together in a way that like just smooths it out, so you can make these really cool looking modular ships. Again, also this is amazing because Starfield is over here just languishing in bullshit. No Man's Sky is just like, put Starfield in there, put that shipbuilder from Starfield into No Man's Sky.
We're gonna make our own Starfield.
That's right.
Fuck it, man. Starfield, Jesus, you guys look like bullshit every other day.
Yeah, but this looks so good.
That looks amazing. Holy shit.
So yep. Let's see. After that, we got a brief environmental showcase for that Expanse Osiris Reborn game. Everybody's saying that this looks an awful lot like everybody's getting Mass Effect vibes off of this.
I'm getting some Mass Effect vibes off
like
of it.
Kind of a third-person space action. They've gone to a few different places. It looks like it's like the characters are not super realistic. Everything isn't like incredibly realistic, but it's doing a really good job of splitting the difference between like super realistic and cartoony. Right?
More games need to do that, in my opinion. I feel like people are too focused on making things too real, or if you make it just right, everybody is fine with it.
Yeah. But this is great. I mean, like, if they can make... I don't know what the action for it looks like. I thought it was like a tactics game, but I'm not entirely sure.
I thought it was too, but everything looks like a Like it has that Mass Effect walking around feel because the gun is even almost in like the same placement,
right?
Type of thing.
Yeah. So I don't know, but good. It looks good. Looks like something that I'd be interested in keeping an eye on.
Yeah,
so.
if I cared about The Expanse, I'm sure I would be even more excited about that sort of idea.
It's a good universe. The problem that I have is that I got really into the books, and then when they made the show, I was like, "That's not what that guy looks like in the books. Fuck you."
Yeah, there's the downside for stuff like that.
We got next up. Speaking of space stuff, we got the release date trailer for Jump Space. You might remember that this was called Jump Ship.
I did.
Which is this 4-player online co-op thing where you're flying this ship around and then doing like missions. You can jump out of the ship and do like first-person shooter action, and then you can help with the ship. Looks fucking great. I love everything I love the look of this. I love the idea that it's more PvE as opposed to that wild thing, Wild Star or whatever it's called,
or the way Sky the Pirates one or whatever is
right.
I've always been more of a fan of a PvE type co-op game than I am like, oh, you gotta fight for the resources against people. I'm like, I'm not a fan of that sort of thing.
Yeah. I think this looks absolutely fantastic. I don't know why they rebranded it. I wonder if there was like a Jump Ship. There was some kind of like legal dispute.
Have been, that or maybe somebody just thought it sounded better.
But yeah, everything in here looks really great, and I think it's amazing because it's going into early access in September.
Oh wow,
September 19th, and it's like I thought didn't we just hear about that game like last year? Was that like when the original announcement was?
Something like that. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
at least compared to other games.
Because. That's a pretty good turnaround. I'm glad they kept their powder dry, and we didn't have to wait for like 7 years.
Odds are they just sort of hung on to it without telling.
Yeah, this official trailer ID at Xbox. Oh no, that's ID at Xbox. That was the first one. So a year ago, about a year ago,
official gameplay ones.
Yeah, it seems like about a year ago was when they first.
If you type in reveal, it usually comes up with one of the ones. But still, even then, that was still not that long ago.
Yep. Oops. Michael, I meant to watch this 13 minutes of Directive 8020 trailer, but I forgot. So sorry. Sorry, everybody, I forgot. This is that trailer from that's the Supermassive.
This is the one that everybody's been really excited for because they actually seem to be taking their time with this one for once.
Yeah, as opposed to just schlepping out some bullshit right ahead of time. I don't know. I can't I can't really tell you too much about this because I didn't actually watch it. It looks good though.
Yeah, it looks like it still has the choose your decision stuff.
Yeah,
from
definitely.
the other games. So depending on if you still like that thing, I'm sure you'll like this game.
I just want to see what they do in a different genre because they've been doing just kind of like very horror focused stuff for a long time. So,
I would be curious too, actually. Yeah.
This was an interesting one. I found this online. The case of the sweet scent incident. This is a Pokemon Legends ZA trailer that is shot like a found footage horror movie.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is happening here?
Where like it's like in first person, somebody filming, and they're going into this like apartment block where there's been like this sweet scent. There's these big like puddles on the floor. The only thing that really weirds out is that the character models are very anime.
Oh, they're still the Pokemon people, yeah.
Right? The environment looks kind of PT almost, but like the character models look like fucking Pokemon sprites.
It keeps throwing me off when they turn around.
Yeah. So I watched this and it's like they kind of go through this place and they're looking around trying to figure out what's going on, and then at some point they get like jump scared by a Pokemon, but it looks like the Pokemon. Like there's a bunch of like spiders and bats, but they're like the Pokemon spiders and bats. And so the environment is very detailed. It's very weird. Eventually they go upstairs and they find it's like a mega evolution of one of these like
so that's what the sweet set's coming from.
Victory Bell. But like the way it's filmed, it's this fucking like this horror thing. At the end it turns out that there was just like a trainer that was training in an abandoned building with his Victory Bell. And like he didn't mean any harm or anything, but the way that this thing is shot is just so weird. Like,
if anything, I just kind of wish that there was more Pokemon stuff that looked like this.
Yeah,
because this is the thing that annoys me about Pokemon. You have this really interesting world, and you could film a lot of shit that kind of looks like that, and it would be kind of cool. And they just don't.
Yeah.
And so that's actually kind of a fun use of the Pokemon thing.
Let's see. Dark Hours, which is like the kind of co-op thief extraction horror game we've heard a little bit about. Got a 1.0 announcement. This is a cute little thing with they've got these kind of teams of robbers that are going into these spooky haunted areas, trying to kind of like, it's like Repo, right? Like you're trying to steal stuff, but then there's also like monsters,
and there's like teams of like blue and red.
Yeah. So the 1.0 release is coming fall of this year. There's also a big update. There's like a what is it called? Cruise into Madness update that came out last week. So,
man, those guys who made those games really changed it for these types of new multiplayer games.
Yep. I think that if big companies wanted to get on anything, it should be these fucking repo, content warning, Lethal Company style games.
They really should. There's such a fun idea more than just shooting things to death.
And it's one of the few times where I think that like, because of the social aspect of it, it really does work in the kind of like make your own fun, like type of thing.
Because me and you played it with Blake, and we were like fucking on point,
right?
Fucking like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this,
yeah.
And then you watch the comparison with
me and Tessa and Matt and Bryce,
yeah, and it's just a shit show, but it's just as fun either way.
Yep,
and that's what makes those games really fun.
I really like playing Repo. I really wanted to play Repo again. Played that with Bryce and Jason.
Oh yeah. That
was pretty fun. So
I wasn't able to join that one at the time.
Yep. Captured. This is a new game called Captured, which appears to be I was talking with Amanda about something like this, a Spot the Anomaly game, but this one is like in a house.
Okay.
And but then it's also got weird like liminal spaces and stuff that you go to. And I think it looks kind of cool. It looks like a combination of what was that? Skinamarink. Kind of Skinamarink house type of thing, but then also back rooms and some other like weirdo monster bullshit.
Yes, haunted house stuff is really easy to do in gaming, and I'm always surprised more people don't do that.
Yeah, I also like
correctly at least.
I also like the fact that we're seeing more anomaly games. Like Amanda and I just played one that was in like a museum that was interesting.
They're so fun, the anomaly ones. Like there's so many little things you can do with them that just make them almost like endlessly playable.
Yeah,
and it's super fun.
But that's coming out September 12th.
Like that fucking train one fucked us up for a while.
Which I forgot what it was called. Yeah. When we were on the train, we'd go in between the cars.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we really liked that one a lot.
No, I'm Not Human got a release date. So this is a very weird game where there's like people that are aliens or altered, and it's got this very disconcerting art style of everybody looks very off. Like everybody looks very off. It's not just like the monsters look very off, but like
even the regular people look very off. I've had my eye on this for a while. I'm really, really interested in this because it seems like a very interesting concept, and I want to know more. So, but yeah, September 15th. That's actually coming all the way out. So, we'll have to see how it goes. I don't know. Really into it. It's a great idea.
Yep. I Hate This Place also got a release date. This is based on a comic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember us talking about this.
Yeah, where it's like a young woman kind of in a top-down action-adventure type of thing where there's all kinds of weird supernatural stuff going on, but it's kind of an action game where you get to shoot stuff. I'm interested. I'm interested to see how it comes out. It doesn't make the most splashy first impression when you watch a trailer for it, but I think it's got some potential when it comes to the actual like gameplay.
Yeah, I'm always been tempted to look it up. I remember trying to, and I just couldn't find it at the time. But I'm sure it's more popular now by now, whatever it is.
Yeah, but yeah, that's November 7th. Kind of amazing in Gamescom where we started seeing like November release dates for stuff. And
they spelled November really weird there.
November. Oh yeah, November.
Maybe they changed in that world.
Are you spotting anomalies again, Michael?
Apparently.
You gotta stop spotting the
anomalies. We're in a loop, Jeff.
Oh God.
The RageSelect podcast is a loop, and no one told us.
Oh God damn it! I always knew it. Here's another one that I'm super interested in. By Sweet Caroline got a release date. This is the one where it looks like a Disney
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
movie, where it's like a kind of clock tower action or like kind of action survival thing where you play as a little girl that's like a Disney princess, and then you got all this beautiful hand-drawn animation.
It's a gorgeous looking game.
And also, like, this trailer has, like, apparently she has a full-on Disney princess song.
Oh.
Like, but yeah, it looks amazing because it's the synthesis of, like, Disney princess plus clock tower horror is, like, yes, please.
Yeah. I'm always surprised more people. Well, I don't want to say more surprised, but it's actually a very difficult art style to pull off.
Yeah.
So I kind of get why most people don't try something like this.
Yeah. I think it looks absolutely amazing, and I really can't wait to. I really can't wait to get my hands on it because it looks like it could be really fun.
It feels like something Don Bluth would have worked into.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so by Sweet Caroline is coming October 9th. So there you go. Let's see. From there, speaking of hand animated, Shinobi Art of Vengeance got a launch trailer. Actually, it's funny. I purchased Shinobi. I pre-ordered Shinobi, Michael, because I got confused about Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi.
You did, yeah.
So I bought Shinobi, even though I meant to buy Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. So this is like sitting on my PlayStation, but I just haven't loaded it up yet because we haven't done a recording for it. And I'm like, I need to play this. I want to play this because it looks fucking cool. And unlike Ninja Gaiden, which like I didn't hate, but is made by the Blasphemous developers, Game Kitchen, who I'm like a little bit less into. This is being made by the Streets of Rage. Is it
Streets of
Emu or
Rage.
something like that?
Yeah, those guys are really good at making stuff.
And they're so good at making like accessible games that like everything I'm seeing in this trailer, it could end up being way too hard, and I don't like it. But because it's them, I think it's going to be just hard enough to be fun without being overwhelming.
Yeah, that's the thing they've been pretty good about. These types of games vary as the main reason. I think it's the main reason they're not as popular as they could be.
Yeah, is
because sometimes they're just so fucking difficult,
right?
That people just don't want to deal with it, especially since they're not like fucking elder Souls looking type games.
Yeah,
people seem to be more forgiving about those for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
you're gonna get them pre-order bonuses, Jeff.
I already got all the pre-order bonuses.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna get them for sweet pre-order bonuses.
They're already there. I got the Ghost outfit, the digital art book and soundtrack. Anyway, look forward to that coming next week. Yeah. Let's see. We also got. Oh, yeah. Speed up a little bit. Katana Knot. We've seen this once before, where it's like a kind of a weird pixel-based side-scrolling kind of hack and slash type of ninja game. But it's also sci-fi, so you're like fighting like robots and weird aliens and stuff like that. I like everything about this except for the idle stance of the main character needs to be a little bit more dynamic, but all the action and everything looks pretty good.
Oh, okay.
So
I can kind of see what you mean.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I'm interested to see more. It also looks appropriately gory and violent, and everybody knows that I'm into the violence and gore. So
this is exactly what we mean when like these are so simple. Like this is like a side scroller. It's more like it's not like a super 3D game, but it still looks amazing.
Yeah, coming out September 10th. So let's see. We got the launch trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta. I think it's amazing that this after playing the game, I look at this launch trailer and I'm like, oh, you guys picked every part of the cutscenes where the frame rate is really good for this launch trailer.
They kind of did. I've been playing this game nonstop for the past day or two.
Yeah.
And I'm in love with it, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of moments here and there where stuff will act kind of weird.
Yeah. It looks nice. I don't know. I keep going back to like, do I really want to replay Metal Gear Solid 3 for the 40th time?
Well, the answer is yes, but you don't know if you have time is really what it comes down to.
Very true.
Because I've replayed this game. It's one of the few games I've beaten on every difficulty from normal upwards.
Yeah.
Except for, the super extreme one where if you get caught, you're fucked.
Right.
Type 1. But
European extreme?
Yeah, European extreme. I think you get caught once and it's game over, if I remember correctly.
It looks nice. I just, hey, if you're playing on the PC, there's a mod on Nexus Mods that you can get that changes the Unreal Engine settings that makes it run a lot better. So do yourself a favor and go get that.
Or just wait if you're on the console, give it a hot minute, and I'm sure they'll fix something on it.
Yep. Real briefly, Nico D'Erco and the Magical World is getting a physical release.
Oh, fun.
That's the kind of Donkey Kong Country style game that I think we checked that one out.
I wasn't part of it if you did, at least.
Okay. August 22nd.
Because we talked about it at one point.
I thought we played that, but
if you did, it was with somebody else. I don't know.
And then Yuka Replay got a teaser trailer. So this is basically a remaster of the first Yooka-Laylee game.
It's crazy. We're getting remasters of games that were kickstarted.
Right.
Well, such an interesting concept.
We're going to find out more in the Mixed Fall Showcase on August 29th. And then last but not least, not a game, but a movie. We got our first teaser for Return to Silent Hill. So, Michael, have you seen this before?
No, somebody posted it, and I meant to watch it, but I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Well, I'm in a weird position where I am very agnostic about Silent Hill. So, like, if they fuck up the story of Silent Hill 2, I don't care.
Okay.
Because Silent Hill 2 is available for me to play as a video game. All I really want is an enjoyable movie. So if they change a bunch of stuff or they fuck up or they do a different thing with the plot, all I give a shit about is whether the movie is entertaining. I don't care if it is true to the original. I don't care if James is, you know, he doesn't have blonde hair really in here. He's got like darker hair.
And also it looks like they didn't put... It doesn't have the budget that I think the first one even did.
Yeah. Well, at least Christopher Gans is doing this one.
It still looks
the
pretty
second
neat.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be good. Like, I don't know. I wonder if you can tell the story of Silent Hill 2 in a 2-hour movie.
I
right?
don't know. That's the
Like,
problem with Silent Hill in general. Is Silent Hill has such... It's such a slow burn in some of its reveals.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you can make that work the same way.
Yeah. I do like the tagline, "You live here now." Like,
That
it's
is a
very
pretty
threatening.
That is a pretty good tagline.
But yeah, people are very torn on this. And I think that it's because people who like Silent Hill 2 really like Silent Hill 2. And they really want to see it like respectfully treated with respect.
Well, Silent Hill 2 is their Metal Gear Solid 3 essentially of their franchise.
Sure.
And I get it.
Yeah.
I 100% get it.
Yeah.
If this was a trailer for a Metal Gear movie based on Metal Gear Solid 3 and it still looked like this,
Yeah.
I think I would have been like, I don't know, type of thing. Because again, I don't think it looks bad, but I don't think it looks phenomenal either.
Right. It was a little cheap. It was a
Yeah.
little cheap around the edges. But again, I don't give a shit. All I care about is it good to watch?
Yeah.
Like, that's all I care about.
It's a tricky one with horror, so we'll see how it goes.
Yep. Coming in January. So, and then we'll wrap it up with a few quick things. Amazon is moving ahead on a Mass Effect TV show.
Okay.
They are set to start filming early next year, and it is unclear yet which Mass Effect story they're going to be focusing on.
Or if they're even doing an
Right.
adaptation.
Or it could be something completely original. It was funny because Fallout's probably the best video game adaptation I've seen, and a lot of that is because it's not an adaptation of a specific game, it's just an adaptation of the world.
Which is why exactly what you should do with some of those things. Because Fallout never really had one overarching storyline.
Yeah.
Which is the reason it works for that.
Yep.
But it's the reason why people are upset about the Resident Evil one, because that one does have an overarching storyline.
Absolutely.
But I don't blame them for doing what they did. Or doing what they're doing, because it hasn't come out yet. But all I will say is this about Mass Effect. Put "well bang okay" as one of the lines, and I'll be all sold. That's all I have to say about that.
We also got the official teaser for Splinter Cell Death Watch. This is the Netflix Splinter Cell animated show. We got ourselves an old ass Sam Fisher.
This is what annoys me is that I was expecting it to be a young Sam Fisher, because I was like, I get why you didn't get Michael Ironside. You wanted a young one. I'm like, no, he's an old man. Why the fuck didn't you get Michael Ironside?
I gotta
with you people.
I gotta tell you, Michael, I've been resisting this statement for a long time. But who is it that they got to do Sam Fisher? It's I
don't even remember.
It's the guy, that one guy, the Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, which is, again, just get fucking the guy.
Well, but here's the thing. I think Liev Schreiber, of all people, does a good Sam Fisher.
His voice is actually probably the closest.
Yeah. Like, is it Michael Ironside? No. Is it like 70%, 75% Michael Ironside? Yes. Okay, that's fine. Michael Ironside is an old ass man who does not want to come in and do this stuff no matter how much money you give to him. But yeah, this is like an old Sam Fisher. This looks a little bit like what was the one where he like you didn't have any of the stuff where it was like Conviction.
Yeah, the Conviction.
Blacklist was the last one.
Yeah, I was thinking of last one. No, Conviction was what it was.
Because also in this trailer, it looks like Anna Grimm's daughter is in here as well, which is good. I don't know, man. I'm kind of one of those things where it's like, at this point, I don't give a shit. Just is it fun to watch or is it not fun to watch? That's all I care about. Like,
yeah, it's just when they announced the new one and they were changing the voice, I was expecting like an adaptation of like something or just like a new thing.
Yeah,
but instead it's like it is an actual thing that I feel like you could have just gotten the original voice actor to do. Because he's not a young man, and Michael Ironside's not a young man either, so
yeah,
it's just an interesting thing. I don't know.
We'll see. What was that? October? November?
I think it was October.
Yeah, so this October. So, we'll see.
And I like the Splinter Cell series fine, and I'm sure it'll be fun. Because I don't think any of those animated ones have been bad necessarily. Even the Devil May Cry one, as much as some people hate it, there's a lot of people who really loved it.
I thought it was pretty. I mean, that was okay as long as you don't get mad when they fuck up the lore. Like it's its own thing. So.
There's already a season 2 trailer, so it did well. So
yeah. Hey, surprise! There's going to be DLC for Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh, and it's free,
and it's going to be free. And yeah, so the thing is that I looked into this article, and basically, Ubisoft got a big chunk of money from the Saudi Arabian Wealth Fund.
Oh, geez.
And you'll never guess where the DLC for Assassin's Creed Mirage takes place.
In a DJ's booth.
It's basically set in Aliula or something, which is an ancient city in Saudi Arabia. So
Mirage is the place to do that with, though. So that's fine, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If fucking the Viking one all of a sudden took place in Saudi Arabia, I would question your methods.
Well, but then I have my question is, it's like, did Assassin's Creed Mirage do well enough to know, or like, does anybody give a shit?
Here's the thing: I don't know anyone who said good or bad things about it. I knew one guy.
I said bad things. I said bad things.
I knew one guy who talked to a guy who knew a guy who played the game, and that's it. And that's literally the truth. I'm not making a joke.
Yeah. Escape from Tarkov is finally getting a 1.0 release after 8 years in early access.
Oh.
So November 15th, 2025. You guys can all finally escape from that horrible, horrible Tarkov.
How many DLCs will there anger people with?
I have no idea. I have no idea if they're gonna what would be after 8 years. It's like, so we're going into 1.0. That means we're gonna reset everybody's progression.
And you got to buy $150 thing to get the 1.0.
Yeah,
because fuck you.
Let's see. Schedule 1 also has a beta update that finally puts like violence in the game.
Oh, that's interesting.
There was always this threat from another cartel in Schedule 1, but now apparently after this beta update, people will just like jack your dealers, they will beat you up, there will be like, actual fighting happening, which is like, okay, cool.
That's pretty early access as shit.
Yep. Let's see. This is an interesting one. You remember that Black Panther game that was being made over at
I forgot the name, but I know
Warner Brothers,
about.
right?
Yeah, Warner Brothers one, yeah.
Wait, was it? No, it wasn't Warner Brothers.
Not Warner Brothers. It was
EA.
It was an EA. It was an EA company game because EA was making like all these Marvel games for some reason.
Right. And that was the one that was it was being done at Warner Brothers because they were using the Mordor, the Nemesis system.
No, they were using a version of it.
Okay.
Because you remember WB owns the actual one. But they had like a version that was like it's that, but it's not really type of thing.
Anyway, that whole team that got laid off has basically signed on with Hasbro to do something over there.
Oh,
so
that's fun.
Hopefully we'll get some of the DNA from that. That Black Panther game sounded pretty cool.
It sounded really cool, and it's a shame that it got canceled because I talked to people who apparently knew some of the devs, and they were like, no, there was some really cool stuff coming out of that thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's see. This is interesting. There was an old Cowboy Bebop PS2 game that was like a kind of a half-hearted beat 'em up, and it had some other stuff to it as well. Apparently, there's been a mod group that's been working on this for like the last 10 years.
Oh my
to
goodness.
basically translate it. Like it's not English voice acting, but they now have English subtitles and English menus so that you can actually go back and play this entire game. It's like a big patch that you do that you kind of put on top of the PS2 game. It looks, goddamn, does it look like a mediocre PS2 beat 'em up game?
Yeah, fun fact about some of your favorite animes, a lot of them had PS2 games that never released in the West. For various reasons.
Did you see that?
I did.
Did you see
I
that?
was about to.
Oh, it's a Spike rolling over a piece of debris, and it's like the slowest fucking action I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, there's a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure beat 'em up game.
Oh, yeah.
For PS2. Actually, there's multiples of them, and one of them is takes place during the Phantom Blood, and it looks just like this, kind of like this mediocre beat 'em up.
Yeah.
And the only reason one of them was supposed to come out in America. And the only reason it didn't happen was they were worried they were going to get sued by Prince because it was going to be the Part 5.
Oh.
And a lot of the stuff was, Prince related.
Yeah.
So they were like, let's just not do this. So they just didn't do it instead.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been doing this in secret for a long time. So there's a group called the Jazz Messengers, and they have like it's like one of those, like, it's a patch you apply to like an image.
Like a ROM, yeah. Good for them, though. Like,
So-
I'm a big fan of when people do it, because they're like, look, we're big fans of this series, and we just want to, like, have people be able to play whatever these games are. Because sometimes they have original stories and stuff.
Yeah. This is a really weird thing, Michael. This is a mod for Minecraft that makes it Portal. But it's not like they made Portal in Minecraft. It's like
They just added Portal technology to it.
they used the engine of Minecraft to make Portal. And it's just a bunch of map packs, but it's got like all of the mechanics of Portal.
Oh, wow.
With like the portals and the lasers and the goos and all that stuff.
The best part is it says in vanilla, so you can just download it and
Right.
it'll just let you do it.
Yeah,
You
so
don't have to
it's-
do anything finicky with it.
Right. So it doesn't require a whole bunch of mods or the stuff that it requires, they have it built into it. So it's not like you don't have to apply a bunch of stuff before you can do it.
That's incredible.
It's really amazing. I didn't actually realize you could do shit like this in Minecraft, but
5 years worth of time. Yeah, you can do anything apparently.
yeah.
And you can make your own maps.
And it's
That's
got a
fun.
map editor too in it, so you can make your own stuff. So that's pretty crazy.
Hey guys, make more Portal games because people are going to do it for you if you don't, and they'll do it for free.
Oh, dude, I want a Portal 3 so bad. It's called. So check that out. And last but not least, Michael, for you, I don't know if you saw this, but somebody has modded multiplayer into the PC version of Spider-Man.
Oh my goodness!
Where you can have up to, I think it's like 6 people in Spider-Man on the PC, all playing as Spider-Mans at the same time. So even though it's not like, it's not that project that they were working on.
That was really cool though, because they even modded it to where you can both do the finisher on a character or on an enemy at the same time. That was really cool, because the fact that Miles can do it, I guess they just mod it to where you both can do it now.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I don't know if this inspires you to bust out Spider-Man on the PC at all, but
The thing is, I constantly consider it because of the sheer amount of modded costumes you can add to that game.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about modding anymore to do it, so I just never, because I bought Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite for the mods they're doing for it, but I'm like, I don't know how to do this at all. I was reading the instructions and I'm like, this is just fucking.
Some of them are harder.
Egyptian
some of them
to
are there's actually a lot of like controversy in the mod community, because like in Elder Scrolls games, I think there'll be like a mod manager where you just check what you want and it'll go and download
Yeah.
it. But the mod community doesn't like that, because it means that you never have to go touch the work of each individual creator. You're just letting this manager like suck up other people's work and then apply it. But then the people that want to play the game are like, I just want to play the fucking game.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to your website and download every individual mod. Like, you should see what the mod list I have for Baldur's Gate to put the RageSelect people in Baldur's Gate. It's like I've got like 30 mods running on top of Baldur's Gate, and
some mods are brutal.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried one day that they're not going to work because I like 2 weeks before Jason and I record those videos, I have to start going back in and like refreshing mods and seeing if things have been delisted, and making sure everything works. So,
we get putting out those big dicks on those guys.
With that, we're gonna go and wrap it up. Went a little over time this week, but I mean that's pretty
par for the course. Like I said, we're in this time loop.
Yes. Michael, where can the people find you when you're not over here helping me to go through all the news?
You can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews. You can also find me on YouTube under Supermaniacs. It's a Superman podcast I do sometimes.
There you go. And yeah, patreon.com/RageSelect. If you wanna help us out, you can kick us some bucks. If you like the podcast, that also helps me have the time to watch 2 hours of David Hayter making Solid Snake jokes, which I don't know if I would do that if I wasn't getting paid. But
I'd hang out with David Hayter. If I wasn't getting paid and I hung out with David Hayter and all he did was Solid Snake jokes, I'd have such a good time.
You know that deer and boy thing? It's like the Maggie Robertson like completely introduced the whole thing. It's like, oh, here's a new game with a charming thing with this boy and a young deer. And then David Hayter just looks at the camera and goes, metal deer. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't even make sense.
Anyway, that's it. Get out of my house. I got to go get drunk. Bye, everybody.